Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 169. I knew that was coming. You're like out of breath from running to get those figures.
I just found out chucklesome's a word.
Chucklesome?
So I find that number very chucklesome.
So you're out of breath. You just ran to grab figures. You got Seth Rollins going there.
I got a match accurate thing.
Anyways, welcome back. We are down in the tiny little studio to talk about another week of wrestling after we talk about a little bit of non-wrestling stuff as we do, but there's timestamps so you can skip to whatever you like, because today we're going to have to hit Fastlane, which you were just commenting felt like a month ago. You were honestly unsure whether we'd already talked about it or not.
I honestly had no idea,
because it's now almost a week away. It was Saturday, right?
It was basically a week ago, yes.
So we'll talk about that. We'll do news and rumors, talk about the ratings are a big thing to talk about obviously this week. What else do we do on this? We'll highlight and lowlight some Impact, some NXT, maybe a bit of main roster. Trivia, not audio this week. I will do that again, though. We got a copyright, not a violation on YouTube, just like a, hey, we noticed you used copyrighted material, but it's all good. Because apparently it was almost all CFOS, and apparently they don't care.
Well, yeah, CFOS doesn't do the thing anymore, which sucks because they made good themes, but...
Yeah, a lot of them were that. So it's the week after Thanksgiving. So for us, that means Friendsgiving, which I've talked about on this show a lot, how our street gets together for a lot of stuff. And this is a pretty big one where there's lots of families at this one. There'll be 3 turkeys, right? So you'll get your turkey on. You got to work a full day, but you'll be hungry after work. You can come down. So they'll deep fry one, smoke one, and I guess roast one. Did you try all of them last year?
I don't remember.
My favorite was deep fried. That was my first deep fried turkey, and that seems to be the way to go.
That reminds me of that one Goldberg's episode.
Yeah, it's delicious. So that will be fun. I don't know, your brother's had basketball training last 2 nights. He was killing it tonight.
That is awesome.
As he would say, he was cooking people. It was pretty cool to see. He's putting a lot of work, so it looked good. But anyways, I don't know. We are one short school week away from a week off, right? So that's something. And I was... sorry to talk our family business here, but you interested in going to a Super Kicked show?
We could, yeah.
I thought maybe the Thursday because it won't be busy. Maybe it might be less busy. It's a Thursday night. So yeah, it's an indie promotion.
I'm not sure if I have it off or not.
Yeah, well, if you do, we can figure it out. If not, whatever. We'll leave it to fate, I guess, to decide. But yeah, it's a indie promotion that we went to once, and they don't do...
Well, where we saw House of Black.
Right, we're House of Black. That match was awesome, by the way. But they don't do chairs, so you can... It's standing only, and you're allowed to stand right, literally touching the ring if you want to be, right? So it's all ages, but it did say that like under 18, aka you, has to be in the balcony, which is probably where we'd try to go anyways.
I think.
We tend to be like...
Depends what they define as the balcony.
Yeah, because it's at a different venue. It's downtown Toronto this time. It's not. Last time we were kind of out in the outskirts, because remember we ended up hitting up that pretty busy but super cheap pizza place.
That was pretty good.
It was pretty good. And remember we got like a full loaf of garlic bread was like $3 or something.
Too, I think,
it was,
if I recall.
It was. No, that was good food. But anyways, it's a different venue. So
accuracy.
And they're doing zombie wrestling because it's close to Halloween. So
oh my god.
I imagine the Poison Rana dudes will be there because they kind of love spooky season. So I think they'll probably be... I'd like to check it out.
We're recording this on Friday the 13th.
We are. Speaking of spooky. So I'd like to check it out just to see what it is. Maybe we can do that. Something to do on our week off. Weird week to have off, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's not even covering Halloween this year, though.
No, it's not. But I don't think you go out on Halloween anymore anyways, right?
Not really. No. I don't think I have any plans.
Anything else exciting to talk about?
Can't say I'm going to go to a party.
Because if you can find anything to talk about, it delays talking about Fastlane to foreshadow our Fastlane review. So you're not grasping for anything. Just go through every minute of your day today. What did you do?
Boy.
Just
to go through
just to delay.
Just go through my whole day. Oh yeah, well today was such an interesting day, so
exactly.
I probably would rather talk about my...
I woke up at 8 o'clock and
I woke up, I had to walk to school today. I chose a red hoodie today.
Because here's my motivations. But anyways.
Because blood.
All things serious. What? That doesn't make sense, but anyways.
Because I don't make blood.
Sense. No, me. I don't know what I was saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
But we'll probably get started because you're going to want to talk about ratings a little bit. That's what we'll hit first as we go over some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. Okay, so ratings are the big thing to talk about right now. So that is because they went head to head, right? Dynamite moved to Tuesday night. I forget the reason,
I don't even know.
to be honest.
Honestly,
Let's
I
just
didn't
go
know at all.
because sports,
Because
probably,
sports.
usually. So yes, they were
I would almost say always.
head to head for the first time in a while, and not good for AEW. Regardless of this, I think the spin Tony's trying to put on it, and we can talk about Tony Khan and his sort of interpretation. But so this week's episode of NXT averaged 921,000 viewers, up 7.5%. Got a 0.3 in the key demographic, up a huge 36.4. So they'll love that. Largest audience total for the show
I wonder why though.
since September 25th, 2019, which was the second week that NXT aired on USA. Dynamite, going head to head this week, 609,000 viewers, down 23.9%, and a 0.26 in the demo, down 7.1. So lowest viewership Dynamite has ever done when airing head to head with NXT. Not that that's a huge sample size, I don't think, right? How long did that last? A little while,
I think,
but not like crazy. Anyways, so clearly it looks like people did not watch Dynamite and did go watch NXT. We talked about it a little off air, right? Like anytime you're moving days, some people are going to not catch you. So AEW being the one to switch to a different day, they're going to lose some people automatically. But I didn't think it would happen, I told you, but it looks like it did.
And when you load up with people who are not on your show.
True, and we'll definitely get into that.
I think it's a very tainted victory.
So I think both shows really tried to offer strong shows, but to WWE that means loading all of our biggest stars, and to AEW
who are outside biggest stars, not
correct
at that, because one of them's retired and one of them's John Cena, who's part-time.
And for AEW it meant like put together some interesting matches and whatever. And I'm not saying one's better than the other. You all know which one I prefer by far, but whatever, if people want that, I guess, which they seem to.
I think AEW is loading it up.
So be it.
The typical way, and what I would like to say
the way
is
we would
the
prefer.
Right way.
Right.
But
as I try to be diplomatic, and you're like, no, that's the right way.
Well, I'm just saying that's the right way because like NXT could load up their show too, and I would have no problem with it, but they did it the way they did it, and I think that's kind of a cheap way to do it, just to. And I get why they did it, and I'm saying that whatever, but
doesn't surprise us.
I think the right way to do it would be like, load it up like with what you've created for that show, not bringing in all of these outside factors, which AEW doesn't really have access to.
Furthering feuds and having good matches, right? Which is what I want. So anyways, but clearly not what everyone else wants, because that huge lineup on NXT brought the viewers in. So good for them. And then we talked about, I'll just go to it since it's so related, Tony Khan's take on the head-to-head, which I think is like a creative way to look at it.
It makes me laugh.
It amuses me too. So he said that basically this week, 2 active decade-long rating streaks from 2 great legends were ended, and this is verbatim from him. With all due respect, until this week's head-to-head AEW on TBS versus WWE on USA, neither John Cena nor Undertaker had ever been on a WWE show with under 1 million total viewers and under 400K in the demo. And it's just kind of like, it feels like heel logic in real life, right?
Yeah.
Like, and he's not wrong, but I don't know
it's a
if
funny
that's
way to look at
anything to cling to. And then I saw someone's response was, it's the first time Edge has been on a show with under 600,000 or something, or barely 600,000 or something like that.
It's a funny point of view.
So it's not the outcome I was hoping for, a clear kind of victory for WWE. I'm sure they are loving it, but anyways, doesn't really matter to me. I still prefer what I prefer. And I'm watch NXT. Believe me, NXT is the one thing that I do watch from WWE. But anyways, I'll get into that rant later. Anyways, what do you have?
So on Collision, very surprisingly, FTR's title reign is finished.
Yeah.
Big Bill and Ricky Starks, of all people, beat them for the titles. And so, yeah, it's believed that the reason is Cash Wheeler's rib injury.
Yeah.
But it's unclear whether that was pre-match or during the match.
Surprisingly murky. Like what actually, I don't understand why that would be the case.
I don't understand.
Because normally we know by now, it's been like confirmed in 2 or 3 places and it's the going story. And I don't Like, it seems like they're not quite sure.
No, I don't know. It's a little weird.
I couldn't even figure it out if he got hurt in the match or was already hurt and like aggravated and they had to stop. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, because I saw him get choke slammed through the announce table by Big Bill. They did their first like WWE announce table spot.
Right.
But and like that would make me think he wasn't already injured because I don't. That seems like a stupid thing to do if your shoulder if your ribs are already hurt. But and like this one, did he break it?
I don't know what the mystery
on
is.
that, but like yeah. So I'm not thrilled with this result, and I know Davis got injured, but the fact that these guys just win the titles after Aussie Open lost does irk me quite a bit, just because Aussie Open are fantastic, and
they are.
If they could have, I think they absolutely should have gotten the titles, and maybe that's when Cash got injured. I don't know.
And speaking of Aussie Open, we went and sought out Fletcher versus Danielson, and it was Fletcher. That was awesome,
very nice. Yeah, Fletcher delivers once again.
Yep, and Danielson always delivers.
But yeah, so interesting title result, and it's a disappointing end to FTR's run. Who like now it's what Big Bill and Starks versus the Bucks. Is that what we're getting? Are the Bucks transitional again? Because I feel like remember last year there was that weird bit where the Bucks won the titles from Jurassic Express in that really cool ladder match. Yeah. And Christian Cage turned heel.
I did enjoy that.
And then like a couple months or a couple weeks, I don't know how long later, they lost the titles to Swerve and Lee in a good three-way with coincidentally Starks and Hobbs.
Swerve in our glory. Say it.
Swerve in our glory. Hey, I like him. But yeah, so just weird thing kind of going, and there's a lot of random title changes going around.
There is, and we will get to some of them. So NWA announces the return. I almost want to put air quotes on this. The return of the territory system. And I was telling you, I thought it was kind of interesting that they're calling this the return of the territories when they only have one promotion at the time I got this. And that's the one that is run by your current champion, EC3.
It's Control Your Narrative 2.
So they're calling that the first new NWA affiliate of the modern era.
And I saw they're going to have some sort of new title in that promotion that's officially recognized by the NWA. Right. I forget what they call it. I don't care what it's called, but they're going to have some title introduced, I think.
And you know me, I parse words pretty carefully because I think words matter. And so their phrasing here is NWA will be looking to add more affiliates.
Looking to.
Correct. So that's meaningless.
Keywords.
Both domestically and internationally. Good luck. That might...
internationally.
Good luck with that. Well, I mean, Canada. Throw one in Canada. You're international.
Then they would have to change their name.
And
they're the National Wrestling Alliance, so I think they have to become the IWA, the International Wrestling Alliance. So... unless they want to go through a big rebranding, I wouldn't go international.
Because, you're literally called national. So
I mean, but as we know, if they were to go international, that's leveling up.
It is leveling up.
So
100%. Yeah. Another Corgan thing that he also claims they have signed 2 television deals recently, but can't give details due to, quote, political aspects.
Yeah, that seems like somewhat of a farce to me on some level.
I would like bet that at least one of them falls through mysteriously. Yeah. And I'd hate to be skeptical, but I don't really hate being skeptical. It's kind of what we do sometimes.
No, I tend to, and also I don't care. It's NWA.
It feels like they're big on announcing plans with no real details, right? And it's carny stuff to me.
For sure.
Feels carny.
And as for the territory things, I think that's kind of dumb, and I don't care one bit because I think the territories died for a reason. Is part of that reason Vince McMahon's ambition?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. But I think Vince did everyone a favor in a way, killing the territories, because I don't think the territories are like were the best content. I think they were great for a time, but I think we've far moved on from that. Like that's just not how
with digital communication
the wrestling world works now. Just and the way territories work. But I think not only that, but I feel like independent wrestling in of itself kind of works like a territory system, and not obviously the exact same, but I think it's the modern equivalent.
It does, and it is just sort of a lot of it is linking those things together. It just
and
makes
some indies work together, but it's more of a free for all
talent,
system.
Which I like to be able to work a lot.
So I don't think the territory system is at all necessary. And I don't think the NWA is this powerhouse that it once was, where it's not. It's got the liberty to do the territory system, because it's not it's not the top wrestling thing anymore. It's not the top 2. It's not top 3. It's not even top 4 or 5. So I don't think that this is really like the most logical thing, and I think they can give it a shot and whatever, but I just think it's kind of dumb.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was the cute new thing, and even I think there's a lot of people like me. I was watching it. Was I reviewing it at some point? I feel like I did a couple
You got
times.
into Power for. I don't know if you reviewed it, because I think when you got into Power, that was pre FNS, but
yeah,
you were definitely keeping tabs on Power for a bit.
And I remember it was because it was like a studio.
It was a studio
show,
thing, no
felt
themes,
like an 80s
and it had like the
kind of vibe to it. So
that's also. I feel like 2019 NWA is kind of like what we say about 2018 Impact, because that's back when they had like Eli Drake and James Storm was still there, and Ricky Starks was there, and Aldis was still there. Tim Storm was there, and like they had like all these people. Now it's kind of dwindling, kind of like Impact stars. I think Impact's better, but it's kind of that same thing we've talked about star wise.
Yeah, it was. The novelty just kind of wore off for me, and I think that happened to a lot of people. They still have their little like niche, right? I don't know if that's enough to really have.
I do follow them, and every time I see like because I scroll through the Power card that they always advertise, and it just looks so mediocre. Honestly, it looks
there's not a lot of talent I'm interested in.
It just looks like if an indie promotion got a big budget and a weekly TV deal or something, even though I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's on YouTube or if it's on Fight or something.
It's on YouTube again. I actually checked out recently.
I don't know. It just doesn't look interesting, and it looks so. It's just I don't know how they survive.
Barely, I think probably.
That's mean.
Billy Corgan just must have a lot of money, probably. I don't know.
I guess Smashing Pumpkins are popular enough.
I guess so. I only have one other thing. I don't know.
Speaking
I think it's you.
We'll keep the TV thingy going.
Okay.
WWE's open to moving Raw to another night, and also bidding war expected for TV rights when new deal is going to be inked.
Yeah, there will be.
With the Smackdown one having been signed recently. Now, as someone, and I talked to you about this, but as someone who doesn't care about main roster, I do not like Raw moving nights.
It would be very, very strange.
It's just, it's always been Monday Night Raw, and I said this to you, but like, Raw is a weird thing where the night of the week that it's on is so intrinsically linked with the name that it's just like it has to be on Mondays. It's been on Mondays for like what 30 years is it now?
Probably.
Right? Like it's something like that. They did Raw 30 this year, so it's been 30 years. It's been on the same night. Like SmackDown,
it's been all over.
It's been like on Tuesdays, Fridays, Thursdays. Like it. And it's just SmackDown at the end of the day. Like they call it Friday Night SmackDown now, but if we went to Thursday nights, I wouldn't.
No, you get used
I wouldn't
to
blink
it
an
fast.
eye. Yeah. But Monday Night Raw, it's like calling it Raw is the short form of Monday Night Raw. It's essentially part of the name to me. I think that applies to a lot of people, but it's just always been that. So I feel like it'd be really weird for them to move on that, and I really hope they don't. I don't give a crap what network they go on, because
I cannot watch it any day of the week, though. To be fair,
that's true. But I'd rather not watch it on the same night that it's always on.
I'd rather know I'm missing it on Monday. Feels right.
I saw like that they were open for Tuesdays or Thursdays or something, which Tuesday is NXT.
I can easily not watch it.
It's like I don't know. I just don't like it.
Yeah, it's strange.
I just want them to keep it the way it is. If they want to shorten an hour, that's fine, but just don't move at nights.
No doubt there will be a bidding war, because 3 hours of weekly live TV, because live sports type stuff is really the only thing people keep network stuff for.
3 hours a week, and that's money. That's whether
and good ratings.
People are always sticking around for that or not.
Even though we're not ones that watch it, it gets good ratings, so they're gonna love it. My last story is that it seems that Dragon Lee's call up is official.
It's been kind of
SmackDown
bubbling for a week or two now.
It seemed like he would be there, right? So he beat Austin Theory apparently,
and he's ever since losing the title, Theory's a jobber to the stars.
And so he's on the official website as SmackDown, and he's been on the show for 2 weeks. So he's off NXT. Too bad, but he didn't really need to be there.
It's okay. He'll find his footing with the LWO.
Right, exactly. So I have no other news. Do you?
I think so. Yeah, I got. Yeah, so the nice news of the week was WWE turning down the CM Punk.
Yeah, that's fine.
Speculation.
Yeah.
I think it was like the negatives outweigh the positives kind of thing. And WWE's in a good spot right now, so they don't really need to.
No.
And it'd just be a problem.
They probably don't love looking like they're taking AEW's cast-offs, right? You're not competition, so unless it's someone like Jade, who they're gonna try and do better with, obviously.
Right, and they probably see money in just based on how she looks.
Yeah,
but
she is money based on how she just that if she can wrestle, and she's already like fine for what they do, so she should be a big deal.
Yeah,
there.
I'm just glad that they're not like. Obviously, I wouldn't. Part of me wouldn't care if he goes and stinks up the joint there.
True,
but
seeing him fail somewhere else would be satisfying.
Yes, but we'll call it the human in me, doesn't want another company to be tainted by
even WWE.
what he is. Even them, yes, but I want them to suck because they suck.
Right.
Not because CM Punk sucks.
They can suck on their own without.
I want them to suck on their own. I want them to be bad because they are bad. And
independently suck.
Would be a perfect segue to Fastlane if I didn't have one more thing.
Okay. Oh, he blew it. He blew it.
The last one is Robert Roode has been taken off the roster list, and I think he's working as a full-time producer now because I think he's had some.
There's some health problems.
Yeah,
I forget what it was, but
that
I just
sucks
heard
because he never reached his potential in WWE.
But he seems like a guy that would transition well into like backstage stuff.
Yeah, so I think the producer thing was probably good for him. And
seems like it.
I'm glad, like, at least he's still getting checks from them. At least, like, he'll still be working for them and probably get a good pay gig or whatever.
Good
just
Peterborough boy.
Yeah, it just sucks that he's not gonna be wrestling anymore because he's been out for ages. So that just kind of sucks. But I guess when your Dirty Dogs partner's gone, why carry on?
I really liked him as TNA champion. I felt like
even
he was
NXT.
Like a perfect fit because he was one of theirs and he had like risen through the ranks, right? And he was good too, and he had a good look. So, yeah. All right, so I guess we can't avoid it any longer. We're going to take a few minutes.
Telegraph anything.
I haven't even looked at my notes since so I hope I took notes for the whole thing.
I barely thought about it.
Who knows? But anyways, we're going to do it. We're going to talk about last Saturday's offering from WWE PLEs, and that was Fastlane. Okay, so first thing I'll get out of the way is the pros of Fastlane. It was pretty short. All right, now now we'll get into it.
I don't even know if that's really a pro because I didn't notice in the grand scheme of things, like just because it felt like the PLEs they're short for a pay-per-view, but I never really noticed. So
this couldn't have felt more like a second-rate PLE. Like they're not even trying to hide it. It
felt super second-rate, and it felt like a slog. And to me, the worst part about it feeling second rate is I feel like Payback was super second rate too. We didn't even finish that one. The nicest
2 matches.
The nicest thing I will say about Fastlane is we finished it.
Yeah,
that's the nicest thing
in one sitting.
Oh, which I don't know how we
crushed
did that.
it.
Well, I think it's because if we went for a second sitting, I wouldn't.
Probably.
So,
I would have watched it on my own.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
But like I feel like they usually do a decent job of like splicing in a B pay-per-view, as you want to call it, and then something like either a big four or something that feels more even, or like
this was not that.
If you're gonna have 2 second-rate pay-per-views, I feel like you have to at least like put something together. Like I feel like the example I'm thinking of is Extreme Rules last year, where they had a decent amount of things. Like there was the strap match with Smackdown Cross, there was a fight pit, there was like
fight pit.
You know what I mean? For like a second-rate pay-per-view, they put in some things, and then because these two things back to back feel super like not must see. I'm not saying it always has to be big four then little one, like because obviously there's not enough months in the year for it to always be a big four and then something else because there's only 4 of them, right? But I feel like either Payback or Fastlane really should have done something to make themselves feel just like something you really need to see or something really interesting. And I think
could have had a major title change that I think they kind of should have done. Probably
Fastlane suffered from,
as much as I like Rollins.
I would say I think Payback was the better of the two, just because like that had the title. That this one did have a title change actually, so
it did.
Eat it. But that one I think Payback had a better title change because Judgment Day winning the titles is better than them losing them. That doesn't really matter at this point.
No, it doesn't.
But I feel like the thing that Fastlane suffered from is they had a few non-title matches, which is not an issue if you have a good feud going. But I feel like they were all non-title matches that did not matter, that I did not care about.
And
I
then
think it was just the 2. But
if they're non-title and they don't matter, then be a banger in the ring. Well,
that
we
wasn't
did not
that
tick
either,
that
right?
box either.
So I don't know, just. It's a couple of back-to-back really not great B-rate pay-per-views, so
And I haven't really looked what the general
And
consensus
we haven't
is on this show. But
even started talking about it yet.
No.
That's my procrastination there. So
and
we'll get that.
the first voice we hear as it starts is that of Pat McAfee.
Because the way to make me want to watch a PLE in this day and age is Pat McAfee.
This does not bode well.
Yeah, because the days of me enjoying Pat McAfee are so far in the rearview mirror that it just doesn't even seem real.
So he does this opening hype thing video, right, with images of all of the people and stuff on the card, and he picks up an accent at some point. I didn't quite understand.
I don't
what was
remember.
happening. For me, as someone who doesn't watch the product, I do actually watch these recaps some of the time. I think I gave up at some point in this show when they do the little recaps of things. But McAfee didn't add anything for me, but that's not really surprising, right?
And then what's new, yeah.
The set has actual race cars on it. Any other like formula cars? Any other comments?
There are a couple of race cars at the stage, right? Like, who cares?
My only other note is that's a bad suit, Corey Graves. Wasn't it?
It was like half pink and half black.
Yeah, I didn't know what color the other side was.
The only thing to say about the cars is that LA Knight showed up in a Slim Jim car later, and I didn't hear anything about it, so I just thought it was a stupid sponsorship.
No, I heard later too.
Because he won the Battle Royal. That's I
still wouldn't drive it.
What was it? The one?
Get the decals.
Oh no, we'll talk about we'll talk about the sponsorships. Yeah, because there's some bad sponsorships here.
So there was here a recap of Cody Rhodes bringing Jey Uso to Raw, right? Which was
at Payback.
Which was actually useful for me. So, because normally I would skip these recaps, but I sometimes need to be caught up on things. The first match we get is Jey Uso teaming up with Cody Rhodes taking on Judgment Day, which is Balor and Damian Priest. This is funny because I have not looked at these notes.
I hate that, and this is part of the rationale in my pick, but they're setting Jey Uso on this big main event push, this big solo push, and the first thing they do for him on a PLE is put him in a tag match for other tag titles.
Jay has a catchy hand thing during his entrance, and the crowd reacts well to it. I forget what it was. He just raises both. Yeah, okay. So that's catching on, which is good for him.
Also, he's got his awesome knockoff theme. He's the Roman Reigns of the Usos because obviously for years Roman Reigns used a knockoff Shield team and knockoff Shield gear.
Right.
So Jey Uso is the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
No.
So
my next notes is I asked Jack why no one is wrestling about 5 minutes into this. The most basic 5 minutes in the world, like I was watching inexperienced indie workers. And because I was getting frustrated
it was really slow and there wasn't much of consequence.
Why is nobody doing anything? You do get a nice flurry from Judgment Day and a lengthy chin lock.
4 talented wrestlers too. So.
Then a lengthy chin lock from Balor, and I'm like, what? It started to pick up speed, and then one of the quickest wrestlers you have is slowing things down. Anyways, single star Jey Uso is the face in peril and will need to make the hot tag to Cody
on his first PLE.
And then I add, and the most basic of offense is keeping Jey down. They're dominating him with just nothing, really. Mm-hmm. And the whole point is Cody's just... So Cody hot tag happens, and then we get some action and pace finally. Stalling suplex from the second rope by Cody. Uso splash, but Finn breaks up the pin. Get a Cody cutter. Dom and Rhea Ripley run down, and Jey takes out Dom. Frankensteiner by Priest into the coup de grace, but Cody breaks up the pin. JD McDonough shows up. We get a Rhea Ripley briefcase shot to Jey for a near fall. I don't even remember that, but sure. Crossroads to Priest on the announce table. And it was McDonough's fault.
McDonough accidentally hit Priest in the knee with the cage or whatever. And then they got all mad at him on Raw, and he gets chumped again.
Jey dives onto people, super kick, Cody cutter 1D. That I didn't think looked amazing.
Yeah, I think they've started improving it because they had a match on Raw and they had a match on SmackDown. So
they're tightening it up a bit.
Because here it didn't really look like it looked like Jey just kind of held him. I feel like later at least I saw it on SmackDown and it looked like he kind of elevated him because the 1D it's the 3D, right? But he elevates him obviously into the cutter. So I think they didn't really do that here.
No. Crossroads and it's over after 20 minutes.
Because Cody and Jey. I've seen people really enjoying them on the media scrum because Jey was goofing around or whatever. And that's nice, but I don't care. Highly questionable result in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it either.
We were just saying we really like JD with all the gold.
Looks cool.
Right, and then so that's why Dom won his title back, right? But now they lost their titles.
Congrats on finishing the story, Cody.
Yeah, so Dusty Rhodes was never tag champ in WWE, so
Swerve.
Cody
It wasn't. The story. That's the belt he wanted.
That's
Swerve.
the belts,
right?
Because there's 2 of them. I don't. This was so boring.
The first half of this was like
abysmal.
So basic.
Even when it picked up, I don't think it was.
This is your opener, and my note is, why has no one wrestled in the first 5 minutes?
No, not a hot opener. Just so boring, and arguably paint by numbers at a lot of points.
I feel like is if I had to tagline Fastlane 2023, paint by numbers.
Yeah. This was just super boring and methodical at times when it shouldn't have been. Paint by numbers a lot of the time, and again a highly questionable result. Like, this would be slightly better if the Judgment Day just won, because I don't think they should have lost here, and it makes them look really stupid that they lost to this makeshift team, which can be said so many times in WWE, but yes. I'm gonna say it again anyways. It's just so stupid. And then obviously Jay and Cody retain against Sami and Kevin Owens on Raw, which made me kind of laugh, like, annoyingly, because Zayn and Owens beat one of the best tag teams in WWE history. The Usos, like the brothers, but they can't beat Jay and a random partner in Cody. But I guess it's Cody, right? So
correct.
My mistake.
And just that you're trying to get this guy, as you said, as a single star.
Getting him like a big push, which has been going solid so far.
And he's in peril with basic offense for like 8 minutes or something.
Yeah, not only is he in a tag match on his first appeal, not only is he challenging for the titles, he lost earlier in the year. But yeah, now he's in peril for most of the match. And then like Cody wins it for them.
And the second half of this was better. I still don't think it was very good. And maybe it's the WWE style plus the commentary, which I find obnoxious right out of the gate too. But things just happen so slowly. There were spurts of action, but then also a couple times, like just as things start happening, someone walks away from their downed opponent. It happened like 2 or 3 times, goes to the opposite corner and is like gesturing and taunting the crowd. And it just drained the momentum again. Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess I prefer a steady, faster pace than this, because this wasn't
They didn't even have Jay get the win.
And it's not even like I don't like the talent in this. I don't love Cody, but Cody can wrestle. He's not like all world, but he's very good. Right? I don't have a problem with anyone in this, but I did not like this.
No, I like him.
I gave it 3 stars. Like,
no,
a 60%.
I feel like at the very least Jay could have gotten the pin, because the story's been like JD were trying to recruit him and he said no, and that kind of orchestrated this whole thing. They could have at least done that.
Canadian like, C- is a 3, basically. That's where I'm putting it.
I'd go 3 stars being polite.
Maybe.
Because I could go lower. I could easily go lower.
I believe you. So just, not a great start. And then, what do I have here? Barrett, Booker T, and Xavier Woods.
Oh my gosh.
Shill for pizza and Jack is angry.
It was horrible.
You were mad.
Okay, yeah, because Booker and Barrett talking about, like, I don't even remember what they were talking about, but it was bad.
It was awful.
It's Booker T, and it's like, I don't remember what they were talking about, but it was just really annoying. And then Woods comes in and like
Pizza Hut, right?
Ordering Pizza Hut. No, I don't remember what they were talking about before that though. And then Woods comes in and something like ordering Pizza Hut, and then they're talking about this like dinner box thing, and then it comes up again later.
It does after this match.
I hate it's just so bad. The over the top bashing of the sponsors is something they need to but won't do away with. It's like the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, the Sin Emoji Toast Crunch during the Mysterious match at Mania.
Awful stuff.
The Slim Jim Battle Royal, and like all this crap this year is just another thing annoying.
They do that AEW doesn't do, and it's so. Like this was just so cheesy.
I need to...
No pun intended, so cheesy and awful.
I need to get a preview of their sponsor for Survivor Series so I can
make predictions.
Get some more stupid match types. I need to get on that again, because if I had known there was Pizza Hut involved, oh man, I would have concocted some ideas for sure.
We don't ever eat Pizza Hut. I always forget it's in town, and I always forget.
I would try Pizza Hut sometimes.
I don't even dislike Pizza Hut.
I will specifically not get the thing they advertised to me.
Not in this house.
Whatever the dinner box thing was,
not happening.
Or whatever it was, I will specifically go out of my way to not get that one.
I will buy one and throw it on the floor. I'm just kidding. I'm not making work for people.
I actually would like to buy that. And then, they're getting money for it, so it's no skin off their nose. But I would love to buy the specific thing they advertised to me and beat it with a shovel.
Dump that right in the garbage. I don't want to touch it.
I want to dump it in the garbage and burn the garbage can.
So,
actually, wait, I want to put it in the Zares compactor.
That would be fun.
That's what I want to do.
We get LWO versus Lashley and the Street Profits. So well, it's a handicap match, right? Because LWO still doesn't have a third partner. What's the backstory there? Where's the
I think
missing
Wild
LWO?
And Del Toro got taken out. Actually, that reminds me.
I forgot what his name was.
Well, because it used to be Raul Mendoza, that was like ages ago. It's Cruz Del Toro, I think, is still a bad name.
I just forgot what it was entirely.
I still think I don't like it. But, okay, there's this one spot where the Street Profits took a Walking Wild, and I thought it looked really killer, actually. And I'm just trying to find it.
So,
where is it?
Just pause me when you need to. Ford and Escobar start out in this one, and it's about 5 times faster than the previous match started, which I was pretty happy with. Escobar's on a roll until you get a Montez Ford chop block stops him. Then the heels isolate and dominate Escobar. Ray finally tags in, runs circles around Dawkins until a Lashley. Oh, that would be blind tag, probably not a bling tag. I'm like, what the heck?
Bling tag. Maybe.
Lashley blind tag lands Ray on the floor after a punch from Ford that Jack liked. I don't remember, but you liked the Ford punch.
I think Dawkins might have nailed him pretty good. I do kind of recall, but Dawkins had stupid looking gloves.
Now the heels dominate Ray, almost like LWO will need someone else to show up and save them. Like, this was also so...
exactly what you would expect.
Exaggerated and like the least subtle thing ever, right? They're using a sledgehammer when I want them to use a scalpel, basically. The crowd's pretty dead for this, I note at this point. Ford pulls Escobar off the apron to stop a Ray tag. Vega hits a meteor at a Ford. Ray has no one to tag, so the beatdown continues. And then, of course, but it's not his original music, right? They changed it. Didn't they? It wasn't the...
Oh, yeah. No, he came out to a new thing. And
it's super jacked Carlito.
Yeah, it's very noticeably not his theme, which sucks because...
Which is weird, because that was one of the things about him.
I like his theme, too. It's, perfect for him, but, of course, they just had to get rid of it.
So he runs to the ring. Ray makes the tag. Carlito dominates. Ray takes out one heel on the floor. Escobar dives and takes out another. We get a backstabber to Montez Ford, and it's over in 10 minutes. And then commentary and Woods shill for pizza some more. I don't even remember.
That was, because Woods came over and... Oh, I found it. Okay, wait. Hold on, wait.
So they brought the big box to the announce table, wasn't it? And they all started eating or whatever. Oh, yeah,
they just chucked him into a soup. He looked pretty killer. But yeah, Woods came over and he brought the dinner box thing that I will not be purchasing, or I will be purchasing to destroy. He brought that over to them, and they're eating, and they're going over. It's so dumb.
Awful.
I hate it.
I feel stupid.
And this whole match, I think it was this match. Yeah, the whole match, it's where they changed the Trons to have the add on there.
Yeah,
it's just bothered me because it's that's why I hate them having the screen on the barricade and everything now, because it's just now all the LED parts of the arena are just Pizza Hut logos and whatever.
Yep. It's too much.
Whereas AEW there, because they're on Warner Bros. Whatever, on Dynamite, the Title Tuesday, they had the Rick and Morty sponsor or whatever, but it was literally just the electronic billboard that's up in the crowd. Literally just that, barely noticeable sponsorship there. But WWE, it's plastered all over ringside. It's so annoying.
It is.
I hate it.
This was a fine 6-man tag, I guess, but
so
nothing
boring.
Special.
It was boring. It was
Carlito
fine,
didn't really do much. He looks great, but
it was fine, I guess, because it was it was very basic again. I thought the Street Profits gear was really bad, and Ray's gear was also really bad.
And it was
again, paint by numbers.
Face in peril the whole time until the surprise partner.
It was almost the exact same match we just saw, except it had the added partner showing up at the last minute trope, and then Carlito barely did anything. He
Do you remember great, Lashley doing anything?
I don't remember Lashley doing
crap. I had made a note that I feel like he was barely in this.
Yeah,
and nobody did much of note.
As a whole,
I went 3 stars again.
It was just there's nothing really to say about this because it was just so boring. Just nothing really. It was nothing of consequence. Carlito's back, and he's actually back this time, so that's cool.
And he's been signed for a while.
Yeah, they just
since his last appearance.
They haven't known what to do with him, which I think was part of the Vince regime.
Is it. It's all been building.
Yeah, TKO's put faith in Triple H, so Carlito's finally back. But yeah, this was just lame. I guess I'll go 3 stars again to be nice, but
And next, we get Jade Cargill arriving at, I think it was the pre-show. Triple H met her.
Does
That's
she
all we
do
see.
something on the show? Hell no.
Nope.
We're milking this for everything
That's
it's worth.
it. Recap of the Charlotte Io Asuka situation. Cool.
Because the last triple threat we got at a PLE from the women was so awesome.
Was it not? Did I dislike it?
It was the one that you really hated from SummerSlam.
I think that's on my worst
It is.
of.
I'm almost positive.
Did not like that at all.
That's the last
it was really weird.
women's title match we got. So
then we get an ad for some John Wick thing, and Jack is really annoyed at the bombardment of commercials.
Oh yeah, I don't even remember.
It was like a John Wick universe or something. Like it
was something John Wick related. It was just, it's so annoying. I swear, I think it might have been the ad I saw like 5 times. I don't even remember, but it was probably annoying.
Charlotte, Io Sky, and Asuka for the WWE Women's Championship.
We basically just swapped out Belair for Io in this case.
Yep. Missed right away to Charlotte. She's getting attended to on the floor. That leaves Asuka and Io to fight alone.
I saw a funny meme that like it's like Asuka hitting up Shinsuke after she saw it because his miss like drenched Rollins all in front.
Right.
And like it basically because his miss was better than Asuka's. We got double miss on the show.
We did get double miss. They should have cleared that with AEW, their policy.
Exactly.
Charlotte's back in with a boot. She takes over for a while. Io and Asuka try to work together. Io pushes Charlotte into a kick from Asuka. Charlotte to the floor again, and we're back to Io and Asuka facing off. German suplex off the second rope and a sliding kick by Asuka, but Io kicks out. Weak Charlotte crossbody takes out both women. A million Flair chops. Charlotte barely hits a double suplex. Remember, it looked like she was really cranking on one of their necks to get them over.
I think Asuka.
What does this mean? Oh, just my advice to Charlotte mid notes here. Just run into your clothesline, Charlotte. The walkover adds nothing.
Yeah, it was like the front.
If anything, I think it will like reduce the impact.
It just
you can't do it very fast.
I would also wager that it doesn't make it look cooler either.
I don't think so. Crowd is pretty dead 10 minutes into this. Io dives onto Charlotte on the floor off an Irish whip from Asuka. Io moonsault maybe grazes Asuka on the floor. And then Charlotte hits it actually pretty nice.
The contact could have been worse, but it still wasn't great.
Charlotte follows up with a pretty good one. Credit where credit's due. Powerbomb Samoan drop Tower of Doom. Asuka tries to cover each woman, but they each kick out. Asuka is in a figure 4, and Io hits a meteor to Charlotte for a near fall. I took a lot of notes on this one. Charlotte spears Asuka for 2 after taking out Io. Bayley comes down to help Io, but Io sends her away and gets kicked off the apron by Charlotte.
The finish is so stupid.
I'm going to remember as I read this right here.
It was the ref stopping Bayley from interfering, even though it's a triple threat match with no disqualification.
Thank you. That's 2 notes away. Asuka misses a diving code breaker. Charlotte sells anyways.
Oh yeah, that was like really bad because it like didn't
there was
hit
some
or something.
stuff in this, man.
That was really bad.
There was a couple things in this.
Yeah.
You're right. The ref tries to stop Bayley.
It was so dumb because Bayley's like trying to get in the ring to help Io or whatever.
To break a figure 4.
To break a figure, yeah, because so Charlotte's got the figure 8 on Asuka, like she's doing the bridge up and whatever, which is so stupid because it's a triple threat and WWE always tout their triple threats as no disqualifications.
Ad nauseum.
I think makes sense for it to be that way, but they like also, not only is it like that's the rule, but they also rub that rule in your face.
They do.
This
very much.
And then so now he's stopping Bayley from interfering. Who cares? And then Io hits the moonsault like behind the ref's back as if it's some foreign thing that she did. Like she just hit her finisher by the. Why did? Okay, so then Io hits the moonsault to Charlotte in the figure, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
To pick up the win, but first off, why is the ref stopping Bayley? Because it's no disqualifications, as we just mentioned, right? So he does not need to be stopping Bayley. It's no disqualifications. She can do that. She can interfere if she wants to. She can stop the hold. She can hit her with a chair, whatever.
Yep.
Second of all, the distraction is not necessary.
Nope.
It did nothing. I think maybe Asuka tapped, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. The distraction did not feel necessary to me, and this kind of felt like them like not ignoring their own rules like that. Honestly, it somewhat reminds me of Theory cashing in on the U.S. title because it's like they always rub in your face. It's a world title.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Rumble 2 feet on the floor for a world title. No disqualifications in the triple threat. These are things like that are just, we know this.
They
and
are
then
laws.
They just start contradicting these things
when it's convenient. Like, once in a blue moon.
It's annoying. The finish really annoys me.
I thought this was okay. There were plenty of things I thought that weren't super clean.
I guess it wasn't at least offensive. Yeah, there were some definite misfires.
Don't know if it needed to be 18 minutes in that state, but anyways.
Oh, that bores me just hearing the timeline.
But some of the action was good. I was hoping for better. I gave it 3 1/4. It was better than the 2 matches before this.
The fact that this is match of the night is kind of sad.
So far,
yes. Yeah, this was mediocre at best. There was some okay action, but just like more memorable for the things that didn't connect.
Mm-hmm.
And just the pace was again kind of boring and somewhat slow, and then the finish really puts a damper on things for me because I just think the finish was stupid, and
I think all 3 of these women are awesome in ring. Like, say what you will about Charlotte, she can go, and Io Sky was my favorite wrestler in the world for a while, and I love Asuka.
Yeah, I just think the main roster style has dwindled over the years, and also my perception of it. So it's kind of a double downward spiral. And then I think Io's title reign hasn't, like, I don't think they've been booking it bad, but I don't think they've booked it like amazingly. So this was fine. I guess it wasn't outright offensive like the last triple threat we got, but it wasn't
great.
Much better either. 3 1/4. I'll agree with you on the 3 1/4 because I don't give a crap to give my own original rating.
LA Knight shows up in a Slim Jim car and Jack is furious. We already talked about that.
So stupid.
And this is where I'm stopping talking about segments and videos. There's just too many and none of them matter. Okay? Pat McAfee comes to the ring in a Colts WWE belt.
Yeah, he's out flaunting and advertising one of the NFL belts that don't matter. Who cares?
He panders. Cena music hits. I fast forward. We get LA Knight, John Cena versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa.
The thing that made me laugh is I watched the New Legacy Inc. Shout out to them because I enjoy watching them, but they're always the ones playing the wrestling games and because they'll do whatever crap on the wrestling games or whatever, and I usually watch that. But they also do like the pay-per-view simulations on the games, so they simulate fascinating. The thing I thought they did was funny is they swapped Cena and Knight's ring gear. So they had like Cena dressed as LA Knight and then vice versa. And Jimmy and Solo aren't a real team because they didn't share each other's clothes.
Did you happen to see LA Knight's gear for reffing on NXT?
The vest.
It was next level. It was like work boots, jeans, a leather vest over top of a sleeveless referee shirt, and sunglasses. It was solid.
I saw it was basically LA Knight if he just happened to have a ref shirt instead.
Yeah. So this is the match we're getting. The crowd is really behind LA Knight, as they have been for quite a while now. Cena does Cena stuff. Such professional note taking. Cena does Cena stuff against Jimmy.
You can tell when we like a show.
Sikoa tags in and drops Cena with one uppercut. Heels isolate Cena, and it's plotting. There is no action to call, so commentary talk about the bloodline forever. Which
is also interesting at this point in time.
I feel like I've been watching the same mostly dull tag team match all night. Heels isolate with basic offense, hot tag, repeat. Sikoa has a nice hip attack to Cena. This is so boring as the basic beatdown of Cena lasts forever. Knight finally tags in and runs wild until a Jimmy super kick. Knight slam, elbow drop to Jimmy. Cena crossbody to Solo. Uso splash to Cena. The crowd chants, "This is awesome. Agree to disagree."
Wholeheartedly, may I add.
Knight punches the bloodline forever as the crowd chants, "Yeah."
That just sounds boring in of itself.
Sudden superplex from Knight, the one where he hops up on the ropes.
The one that Pat McAfee screws up because Pat McAfee sucks.
And the 5-knuckle shuffle to Jimmy. BFT, and it's over after 16 minutes. My thoughts were... A few minutes of action cannot override many minutes of inaction, and this is what every tag match on this show has felt like so far. This match was mostly a slog and will be added to the pile of forgettable matches on this PLE. As this trend continues, it gets
I would argue the whole PLE is forgettable matches.
It gets harder to pay attention. 2 3/4 stars below average tag match, in my opinion. This show has no energy at all.
I would argue this is the worst match so far because it's
mine.
It's the same boring tag match we've seen 2 times already.
Plus Cena.
That's what I was gonna say. It's this boring paint by numbers tag match, but now you add in paint by numbers Cena.
Yep.
It's so boring and like lifeless. The crowd are like, I think the crowd, to their credit, are about
thought it was awesome.
They're as into this as one could possibly be. But this match is just not even just the crowd.
Must be
The crowd,
drinks in that
the
arena.
crowd aside, the match itself is so lifeless and
it
just
was
bland
16
and
minutes
flavorless. You want MJF and Jay, to
stuff.
borrow a line from MJF, this match is truly just, it's tofu. It's bland, it's boring, it has nothing to it. It needs something else. But unlike tofu, the something else never comes.
Never does.
It was so boring, and just even LA Knight's charisma and LA Knight being awesome does not help this one bit. Cena being brought back does nothing for me. And that extends to NXT or anything he's been doing
I'll talk
lately.
about that for sure.
And it's just like his offense is boring now. I feel like he's doesn't do much else other than the 5 moves of doom now. And it's just like, this is just so boring. It does not help that the Bloodline saga has far dropped off.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 3/4 is being nice. Let's be mean. I'm gonna go 2.5.
That's fair. Totally fair. Right. So Damian Priest was backstage with Judgment Day, said that he was not going home empty-handed. He wanted to cash in Money in the Bank, and Rhea Ripley told him he's not ready and can do it another night. And Priest hands her the case, and
if only he
Ripley
had
tells
cashed
him to rest up
and made this show interesting.
I think they were basically like, hey, nothing interesting's happening on this show. Just so
They're
you know.
letting me know that
you want to stop watching now, we've got your money.
If they just if they wanted to just,
this is the escape hatch.
This is them outright telling me that there's nothing.
We didn't
I want
take
to
the
see
escape
here.
hatch.
Yeah,
our own fault. Then I don't know if you remember this. You enjoyed this very much too.
The opening.
Butch and Ridge sell some toys.
So stupid. Pete Dunne would never. Okay, Pete Dunne would never. Yeah, it was them. Like, what was it? Oh, it was the Wreck and Slam, the big monster truck. That's what it was.
I think
remember?
I've just suppressed the trauma of this show.
It's because you know how they got like their Wreck and place. That's where you can smash the crap and whatever. It was the big monster truck one.
Oh, that's right. It was.
And there's like, and they're gonna take it to show Sheamus. Like, it's so
so stupid. I'll take it to show Sheamus, a 260-pound grown adult male, the run and show him.
That's like this. Like, people want to say like wrestles with like Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne would never do this. I don't care if Pete Dunne's about this. Pete Dunne would not do this. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Is like, this is not my Pete Dunne. This is not Peter England. This is Butch.
That's right. So at this point, I realized there's only one more match, and I was really excited because we were just in over 2 hours long, and I had been fast forwarding pointless parts, and somehow it still felt long. Like, honestly. So the main event is a last man standing match, right, with Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke targets the back right away, and this would be a thing, right, by driving Seth into the apron, then the barricade.
I don't think it helps them that this was last man standing, which is never the most.
Not my favorite.
I feel like it's because
it's just momentum killer.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, it's kind of like an I Quit match. Although I feel like I Quit matches can work because like sometimes you can work in a submission or something. Because like I Quit can work like last man standing where there's a pause in the action, or it doesn't have to be, right. It can be worked into the action. So I think while we see them fewer, I would argue I Quit is a little better, maybe.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty similar, let's be honest. But last man standing, it's like such a momentum killer every time. It's like a casket match because that's the momentum kind of stops to do that.
I got a second
casket
one.
Casket matches are worse.
I got a second one this week too. Did you know that?
Last man standing?
Yeah.
On
We'll
Impact?
get there. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I guessed that, but just because I didn't think it was on NXT. But yeah, just
it's the final fall of a larger match.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. But like, sorry, get back to the point I was trying to make is like, Rollins and Nakamura are both fantastic, and this is not the match I would put them in. Like, I get why they're doing it just to ramp up the rivalry because it's been like pretty personal, but I would to give them a better match, I would not put them in this match because I don't think it plays to their particular strengths, especially together. So I don't think it was the best match choice.
No, probably not. Rollins, he reverses a suplex on the floor, pulls back the mats, right, exposes the concrete.
Yeah, because he wants to avoid getting slammed on hard things.
Rollins throws chairs, garbage cans, and a table into the ring. We get a running knee to Rollins lying on the apron. Knee to Rollins' back to knock him off the apron. Nakamura gets nunchucks, right, and uses them.
I thought that was kind of cool, at least, because it's different and specific to him. So it didn't get a ton of use, but I thought there was at least the idea was nice.
Nakamura hits that sliding German. He
That's
when
really
Seth's
cool.
in the ropes.
That's always cool.
Kendo stick shots to a trash can with Seth inside of it. Lengthy Nakamura sleeper. Rollins sling blade kind of turns the tide in this one, and then we get a kendo stick attack
those
by
powerful
Rollins.
Sling blades.
That's it. Making snacks so notes would dwindle from here. Brawl in the crowd.
This was one of those shows where you have to keep making snacks
to keep us awake.
It was not even to keep me awake, but because we started relatively on time, so it wasn't crazy late. But it was partially to keep me awake and also to give me something to do. I actually specifically remember, I don't remember when, but at some point cutting up a pear just because that was something to keep me occupied. Because this show was just.
Seth gets kicked off the stands onto something, but not the floor. I just didn't know what he landed on. We get chair shots to Seth's back. A pedigree's countered. Seth gets backdropped on the floor. Super kick and a pedigree from Rollins. Double knees off the second rope to Rollins through a table on the floor. Chair shots to Rollins. Nakamura gets run into the post to shift the momentum again. Both climb a ladder beside the announce table.
Because that's smart.
Miss to Seth, and he's pushed off the ladder through the announce table. Backbreaker to Seth on a chair. Kinshasa sends Rollins into a table in the corner. Pedigree and a stomp on a platform in front of the crowd. And then we get the finish comes when the Falcon Arrow off the platform through a table. Seth gets up.
Which to me...
Shinsuke does not.
He almost did, though.
Seth retains, yes.
To me, that didn't feel like a match-ending kind of... Like, that. I feel like there's...
It wasn't the most satisfying crunch through whatever that was.
The tables?
Cardboard boxes and pillows. I don't know.
Well, and it's just like, I don't know. People get up from table spots all the time. It's just like, I don't know. Didn't feel like a last man standing match ender.
Yeah, it pretty easily, I thought, the best match on the show.
Which isn't a wild compliment.
Still not quite the level I was hoping for. Like we said, last man standing, there's just that lack of momentum and pace at times. And it's different. Again, if there's been different style matches, but there's been no fast action on this show.
This wasn't even like fast.
So if there were other like different, you had some cruiserweights or whatever, and then you do this, fine. It was good, I guess. I was pretty exhausted and frustrated by the big pile of nothing leading up to this, but I think the story of this match telegraphed who was winning it because Nakamura dominated so much. It kind of became clear, like, it's not happening.
They're never going to take a chance on him, I guess. Like
I said, pretty good match on a bad show, 3.5 stars.
I think the worst part about this is that I think it officially kills Nakamura as the top title threat because I think they surprised
Seth, but this felt like the time, right?
This felt like the time, yeah. And I don't know, just because the promos that Shinsuke had were really cool, and I felt like they were finally going to try to do something with him.
Right.
And felt like he was finally getting his chance at the top, and I understood him losing the first match to a degree because there's always room for another, and there was here, but then they just kind of killed it again. I thought this was a fine match as far as last man standing goes, but again, just never my favorite match type. And yeah, they kind of telegraphed the winner here with the story.
Down.
Some of the spots were solid. I thought the announce table spot was pretty cool, but just nothing really screamed out to me. Best match on the show, I would say, I'd give it. It was good. I had 3.25, I guess, because I don't really like 3.5 just feels too generous to me. I feel like that's something that's like really good. That's like getting really, really good. So like I just can't go that high.
I don't blame you.
It was easily the best thing on the show, but that really doesn't say a lot. Yeah, I don't know. This whole show was just so.
Give it your overall grade since you're already
boring.
Ranting.
So boring. Oh my god, just. Opener, boring. 6-man tag, boring. Carlito's back, that's fine, but that was totally telegraphed and also just like incredibly paint by numbers for the first two matches. Women's match, boring, bad finish. Cena match, so boring. Probably my least favorite match on the show.
It was mine.
Last man standing match, best thing on the show. Pretty solid, but at times still bored me. So this show, I wish I could give it a B for boring, but I think at best it's a C show because it was just.
I thought you were gonna go D.
It was
D range with it.
I
went C minus.
I'll go C. Okay, C minus. Sure. C minus. It's just it was such a slog to get through. I was like, I wasn't falling asleep, but I was just like barely clinging on to like consciousness just because I was just so bored out of my mind. It was just a waste of time. I could have skipped this show and not missed a beat.
Pretty much a waste of time, and unfortunately, that's kind of what I was expecting. We got a title change, I guess, but other than that, nothing memorable happened.
An unwanted title change at that.
The tag matches felt copy and paste, and the first one wasn't good, let alone the third, right? So the women's match was fine, but a bit clunky. Could have been a lot better too. The main event was pretty good, but couldn't save this show, right?
No.
Underwhelming matches, obnoxious commentary, relentless ads, and sponsorship spots. Lack of energy just in general with this. Really tough to get through. C-, like D+ would even be within range. So did not enjoy.
No.
Okay, so let's move into some wrestling I think it's safe to say we did enjoy. And that is taking a look at this week's AEW Dynamite. All right, let's talk about the Dynamite that got crushed in the ratings this week.
Gotta reach deep in for that positivity after going through Fastlane. That was abysmal. Anywho, we kick off with weirdly just Christian Cage in the production area speaking words. He was just talking about tonight having a lot of implications for him with Danielson facing Swerve Strickland for a shot at his title for this Saturday's Collision, or which is tonight, I guess, when this is coming out. He also talked about Luchasaurus facing Adam Copeland, and he's going to end his run before it even gets started. He said he might elaborate on what he said or on the 3 words he said to Copeland last week. And he said he made sure Dynamite was commercial free for the first 30 minutes, much like NXT. He told one of the a-holes to start the show, and then we cut to the intro.
Yeah, I thought he did this in the production truck, right? So I thought that was cool in a different location.
Yeah, I liked it.
He's just super comfortable with this character, and it's so enjoyable. And I can't believe how far we've come around on this guy. He's like the exception to my, like, I don't want you grabbing WWE veterans that are past their prime. No offense to him. I don't think he would argue he's in his prime still. Still good, but like
character prime.
I am thoroughly enjoying him, man, and I don't love them recycling veterans, but he is working for me.
Well, I don't think it's recycling if they're trying something new.
True.
Which he didn't do this.
He can't do this in WWE.
He can't do it in WWE.
He
didn't do it in TNA. Like, even if he was heel, like, this is a new kind of thing, right? Especially with obviously being older, so the father figure thing works better. But yeah, so it's a new lease on life for him, at least like kayfabe wise, or sorry, like career wise.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great use of him because we've come around on him like.
I look forward to him speaking more than almost anyone right now. Him and Samoa Joe right now are.
I was saying very much enjoying. I always enjoy when we get to see Bang Bang Gang
and Eddie when he gets a minute. I forgot. Swerve. I was going to go over the buy-in match because I watched it.
Oh, yeah. You want to do that?
So it's Suzuki, Eddie Kingston for the New Japan Openweight and the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championships, I think.
Kind of like both? The Shibata match.
So this did not take... There's not a lot of variety in this. So it straps down for Eddie right away. Chop exchange starts this one. Suzuki moves on to forearms. Eddie's selling like crazy. Nothing other than chops and forearms for several minutes. Now Suzuki's sort of selling for Eddie. Eddie hits an exploder for the first non-strike of the match, and this is several minutes in. Suzuki with punts to a seated Eddie who keeps firing up. Back to chops. Suzuki's are overhand now, and Suzuki is laughing maniacally. Tony complains. This was my highlight of this match. Tony Schiavone complains, maybe I'm old, because he's about to complain about how nobody's making any pin attempts, right? And so Excalibur literally says, is JR here? Because JR always moans about the product, right? So it's like Excalibur knows that JR adds nothing and is just this bitter old man complaining about the product he's supposed to be promoting, right? So I thought this was hilarious.
That's funny.
There's a bunch
I wonder how JR feels about that.
Bunch of Hurricanes that have normally pretty effective, but not against Suzuki, I guess.
Well, I think the Hurricane or the Yurkin or whatever, however it's pronounced, it exists in this weird nebulous where it is a finisher, but it's not like the most effective one because like Claudio took 3 and what was it like some move or I forget what it was. It might have been the Northern Lights bomb.
It is.
But
that's
like
what he's trying to get.
He took like 3 and like or no, anyways, like, Eddie hit Claudio with like 3 and like some move or whatever. It was like 2 and then a move and then 3. Or sorry, the third one. And Claudio still kicked out, remember? Then took the Hurricane, and then I think it wasn't a Lance Bomb. Then there's a Hurricane and Power Bomb that won it. Like, he hit 4 and other moves to beat Claudio. So it's like this weird, like, it was a finisher for him, and now it's like kind of a finisher, but
I think it's moving into signature because he's going to go Northern Lights Bomb and Power Bomb, I think.
Northern Lights Bomb is kind of cool.
So this was
I like that better than a Power Bomb because it's more unique.
This was Hurricane, Insiguri, Northern Lights Bomb. Eddie just wins. It kind of came out of nowhere. They chop each other after the match too, and then hug. And Eddie leaves to give Suzuki the ring, even though Suzuki lost. So Eddie high fives Renee on his way up the ramp and gives RJ City the finger, which was also my other favorite part of this because RJ City's standing right with her, and he like walks over, high fives Renee, flips him the bird.
Does he have history with him or something?
I don't know. I just made me laugh. Really quick slugfest, not really much wrestling. I mean, I don't mind Japanese strong style, you know me, but this was like 80% chops, and it was a bit too much for me. Mm-hmm. Fun for Eddie, I'm sure, but
I'm happy for him like that he gets to do things like this because I like that for him.
Didn't really feel like a championship match, but whatever, it was fine.
Double championship.
Sorry, carry on to a better match.
Yeah. I just like the bit from Christian though as well.
Me too.
Love Christian always. He's funny. I like him talking about Swerve and Danielson. Obviously, keep the window open for either, regardless of perceptions. And he always amuses me. And we'll see more of him later. Then we go to our opener after the intro, which is Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson, first time ever, I believe.
I am very, very
excited
number one
contenders match for the TNT title. Yeah, so
this is pretty close to a dream matchup at this point for me.
And
which a lot of those involve.
I wrote in my notes, but Danielson, like, if this is his last run, right? I'm glad like someone like Swerve Strickland gets to work.
It's the final countdown.
Some might call it that. Or the last rodeo, if you want to call it that. That also works, I think. But yeah, so what I was getting at was, here's NXT loading up their show with a bunch of main roster appearances. You know, Cena's here, Heyman's here, Undertaker's here, Asuka's gonna wrestle, Cody's gonna make an announcement, and I don't give one iota. But that you give me some matches like Switchblade and Hangman, who I love both of them immensely, and then Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson, which is a dream match, like you said, and I love Swerve, so that's awesome. Like, those are two matches that sound fantastic to me, so that immediately has me infinitely more interested. Like, that's how you get me to watch a show, opposed to the bull crap that NXT has to offer. Some notables from the match: there was a small package back and forth where you get like a series of 2 counts where the ref is just counting constantly. Swerve hit a nice sidewalk slam on the apron. Power slam from Swerve, then like he does that smooth transition, like the rolling transition back up into a suplex for 2.
Yeah, that looks nice.
That's how he do. Swerve went for a 450, but Danielson got his knees up. Danielson connected with a diving shotgun dropkick later on. Yes kicks and the roundhouse from Danielson for 2. Swerve was dancing in the Tree of Woe, like, but hanging over the apron. So he's the Tree of Woe double foot stomp to Danielson on the apron, which looked pretty sweet. Another cool one was Swerve going for the Swerve stomp from the top rope back in the ring. But Danielson kind of countered it and reversed into a half crab, which was really cool. And then he switched it to like an Achilles lock, or I think it was an Achilles lock or a heel hook or whatever, until Swerve got to the ropes. Danielson hit a nice avalanche back suplex. Danielson connected with those wrist capture stomps, and he locked in the label lock, and he kind of like adjusted it to hook both arms so Swerve couldn't get to the ropes, but he got his foot on the ropes. Danielson hit the running corner dropkick, then went for another, but his ribs kind of like, because he keeps bouncing off the corner.
I loved it.
He's got some sort of rib injury for some reason.
Or like liver, they were saying organs, I think too, right? So it looked cool because it was slightly delayed.
Liver of sand.
Liver of sand. He took like a couple steps.
Our new running joke.
That will be. You're gonna get a lot of body part of sand and body part of granite.
Yeah.
Ankle of granite's coming up later, actually.
That's what it was. Yeah. I remember I noted that. But yeah, so he kind of collapses like on his knees, and then Swerve just is like, all right, and he just runs and nails him with a house call, and then a Swerve stomp for near fall. Crowd definitely bid on that one. I wrote like the crowd got into that one there, and I thought that was really nice. The house call, it's so simple but yet So effective.
And this one was where the camera was pulled in a little bit,
so
it's just
his foot comes
came
out
of nowhere.
Yeah,
looked great.
There's a bit where Danielson, like, he's running to the corner, and so he tries to do that thing where, like, he vaults over Swerve, but Swerve catches his legs and he, like, flips him out. Remember, into the sit out slam,
which is
that
really
looked
cool. Awesome.
That was really cool. Yeah. The finish comes when Nana distracts the ref and Swerve tries to cheat again with, like, his Nana's jewels or his crown or whatever it is. No, it was it this, or was it later in the show where he was bald?
It was shocking.
Like, yeah, I think it was this one. I think it was, yeah, because we watched it all in one sitting, so it just kind of blurs. But yeah, so then Hangman came in and took it away, just kind of preventing what happened to him at Wrestle Dream. And Danielson gets the roll for 2, but then eventually connects with the Blue Psycho knee to pick up the win. And so we'll get Danielson versus Christian Cage on Collision.
I thought this was awesome. I love both of these guys, and I thought they delivered. Just back and forth action, plenty of time to tell a story. I think it was like 16 minutes. Interference was kept to a minimum because that was one of my fears, right?
I think they saved it for the finish too, which worked well, I think.
The finish didn't bother me either. It protects... there's a little bit of protection there, and it took more than the initial distraction roll-up, right? Because that was a big near fall. It's like, oh, it's a distraction roll-up. This is WWE. So I appreciate...
And it keeps that feud going, which I'm okay with as well.
I appreciate that they took a little time after the distraction. Fantastic TV match that I hope they circle back around to these guys somehow. I'm also fine with more Page Swerve, as you said. That story's not over, and it's nice to know that. So...
Yeah, it just didn't feel over from the first match. I feel like that's just a lot of feuds that are never over at the first match.
There's meat on that bone still.
It's really rare, and I think it's part of me just wanting to see them again. And personally, I want to see them just have a full-on, like, a great match with the proper dynamic. Because again, that Seattle crowd really threw me off. But I guess this was a battle of the Wrestle Dream homeboys, because they were both hometown boys there. But yeah, great opener to start the show. Bit of a dream match. At least a combination I've really wanted to see. I'm surprised we just got it randomly. But it's as good as you would have expected from this combination.
Yeah,
with just a touch on the line here, there's decent believability. It could go either way, although Christian being a heel and just kind of made me assume it was Danielson, and just because Swerve doesn't always need wins. I think he does, and I think he's starting to need wins more and more as they want to build him, obviously, but he's so great that he can like look great in defeat here like he did. So I don't think it's like, especially just when it's a one-off like this, I don't think it was absolutely necessary he gets the win. I think big wins like the one with Hangman are good to keep him kind of in a balance. But I figured Danielson would win, and he did, which is totally fine by me. Swerve got a couple nice close falls, though. I'm happy to report he came out of this once again looking great despite not getting the win. Like I said, he can look great, win or lose. House call was killer per the usual. A couple moves on the apron that he hit were really sweet. Daniels is great as always. There's no real specifics with him. He's just stellar. And these two matched pretty well, I thought. Yep. I thought also no commercials. Just felt like this was able to breathe, and just there wasn't any interruptions, no picture-in-picture we had to skip. It just kind of existed. So I thought that was really nice.
It was.
And I think the finish works, keeping Hangman and Swerve's feud alive, which is totally fine by me because I really enjoyed their program, so I'm totally fine with that continuing.
Me too.
And Danielson versus Christian should be cool too. Yep. Just a little disappointed that doesn't get some build, because I would love for Christian to find some excuse to just rip on Danielson. So I almost wish it was for next week's Collision so we could get something.
He probably would go after the wife, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, he did it to Edge later on, so they're not immune, I guess. It's dead wives,
who is this Edge?
Dead wives. Wow, I said dead wives.
Dead wives.
Dead fathers or wives that are not far from his age.
Careful, this podcast has killed before, so
that's true.
You don't want another murder on.
I'm just glad
on our hands.
Bray Wyatt was not
my fault. That one wasn't
not our
me.
Doing. No. Next we get a quick Samoa Joe vignette. He was talking about how he's gonna soon become the AEW World Champion. He said on Collision he'll begin his road to the championship, which is him defending his title against Willie Mack. So that doesn't seem like going for the AEW title, but maybe I just don't know. He said he'll prove why he's the man who takes what he wants from anybody he wants to. He said he begins his ascension to greatness this Saturday.
I love Samoa Joe. like refined version of him.
I love the calm but menacing demeanor he has when he was, especially when he was introducing himself at the beginning.
Yes.
I just loved like the menacing undertone of that. I thought that was really awesome.
Everything he does is believable. That man is a treasure, I think. Like I think he is just
super underrated
in all aspects of, and I never knew he was so good character-wise and like promo-wise. He's just a polished professional
Maybe it's
wrestler.
just like a thing with him and like Christian, where as your body in the in-ring stuff may deteriorate, which for Joe at least it hasn't shown much, I would say.
Yeah,
but
he still looks
just
great.
as a general thing, as the in-ring quality deteriorates, maybe it just forces them to get better with their character stuff. I think
he's great.
They definitely have. I thought this one was a lot more straightforward than last week, just in what he was saying. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I still think it was really good. Built something small for Collision this week, so that's nice, and it continues his slow arc, so I like it.
Me too.
If MJF escapes with the title, I do say if because it's Switchblade we're dealing with.
Right.
But if MJF comes out
he will
with the title, I'm okay with Joe getting another crack.
Me too.
But I don't. Respectfully, I don't think Joe is the guy to beat MJF. But
I don't either. But I think a Joe title run at some point, I'm fine with.
I would be fine with it, but if I had to choose between him, if we have him, Swerve, and Switchblade on the same conversation, I have to pick one to not get a run. Joe's the one I'm picking.
How dare you?
Because he's had runs elsewhere. Got to give runs to Swerve and Switchblade. Next, we have another person with a nickname, which is Powerhouse Hobbs versus Chris Jericho, who has 15,001 nicknames.
And a couple of things that I really enjoyed on this show. There were a couple signs that amused me. This is where we saw the first one that's simply right across from the hard camera.
What, name a good Sonic game?
Name a good Sonic game. And that's just really funny to me somehow.
It's related to absolutely nothing.
And it was just great. Loved it.
I don't even.
There's another one coming up later as well. This was my favorite one, but there's a second sign later too.
I don't remember. What was the other one? It was.
I don't remember offhand, but I know I made a note of it.
There was another one that you mentioned too. I don't remember what it was either. But...
Stop using Canadian Destroyer. Was the other one?
Because there's like AEW did that twice. Yeah,
that was in the Cassidy Phoenix. I noticed that one.
Funny because it's involved Cassidy both times.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a bit of brawling early on, but then Jericho comes running at Hobbs, which is literally the one thing you're not supposed to do against someone who prominently uses a spinebuster. Because guess what? Jericho gets caught with a spinebuster for an early 2 count. Some ground and pound from Hobbs. Another spinebuster from Hobbs, followed by another spinebuster, headbutt, and what? A spinebuster. Jericho fights back with some forearms and shoulder tackles and a codebreaker for 2. Hobbs hits. What is it?
A spinebuster.
A spinebuster. Jericho goes after the knee with a chop block and tries for the walls. He succeeds until Hobbs is able to work his way out. Then Hobbs hits like a big time front slam. No, the front slam, the world's strongest slam with like he got a bit of height on it, like the little more. Like,
I think they looked good.
Really impactful. Like it looked nice. Another world's strongest slam from Hobbs for the win, and then after he slams Jericho again. I thought this was certainly surprising because it's pretty much Hobbs, 90% of the match. I like that Hobbs was dominant here.
Me too.
I really like they basically manhandled Jericho for the majority of the match. However, my one complaint is I think it was drawn out too long. The thing I was saying to you is I think Jericho shouldn't have even gotten a chance to fight back. I think he should have, I think they should have started the exact same way where Jericho tries to get in, but he runs at Hobbs like a big dummy and then gets caught with a spinebuster. But then I think Hobbs should have hit him with a couple more spinebusters, did the front slam, and killed him then and there. Because I think they should have Cody Rhodes this thing, redo the Brody Lee incident. That's what we gotta do. Give Jericho the Cody treatment. It would truly make me happy. Regardless, I think this is the kind of thing they should be doing with Hobbs, though. This is making him a monster again. I thought this was a good start to Hobbs's new lease on life with the Don Callis family, and this is some shades of Wardlow, but I notice how I like it infinitely more.
I think this is how you build a dominant monster. The loss does not hurt Jericho at all.
This is dominance with a purpose, unlike Wardlow.
Hobbs looks like a killer, and I know, so I don't have a problem with the 7 minutes, and I'll say why. Because if Hobbs is following Callis's orders, he would want Jericho to suffer as much as possible, so the extended squash makes sense.
That's true. That's not a bad way to look at it, actually.
And I like the choice they made here very much. They needed to clean the stink off of
I think this is
QTV off
very much
Hobbs,
like a
and it
clean
helped.
slate match.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think I was very surprised by this too, but super happy with the decisions they made here.
Yeah.
And I like Hobbs a lot. So he is a
yeah.
much superior Wardlow to me. Like I'm way more interested in
exactly. Like this was the Spinebuster thing was I'm calling it Spinebuster Swan Song.
Yeah.
This was much better than the Powerbomb Symphony, but yeah, like this is much more interesting than Wardlow, and this is exactly what I was saying they need to do with him because I like Hobbs a lot, but like his initial addition to the Don Callis was a little iffy to me just because of what they've been doing with him prior to this. So I think this is great, just wiping the slate clean and starting over.
Yep.
So I'm glad they seem to be getting off on the right foot here.
I thought so.
Next we get another Roddy and Cole segment. Cole is still at Roddy's, as he said. He's been here for like a week. And so now Roddy needs him to cut the grass. And so it was pretty funny. He's like pushing himself on the scooter and pushing the lawnmower. And then the Kingdom are keeping up with him with Roddy on the wheelchair. After cutting the grass, Cole was gifting one of the Neck Strong shirts, which I thought was a nice little touch because now he's not wearing like the tag merch with MJF. Like Roddy's giving his shirt now. So I thought that was kind of a nice little bit. Taven had the giraffe with him again, and they explained it actually, saying the giraffe is the most neck strong animal. And I was like, that's good because I thought the giraffe with Taven was freaking weird and kind of stupid. But I'll admit that's kind of funny.
Okay.
Cole said there's no cell service here, not a single TV, and Strong basically says TV is the devil. Nice choice of words, and they don't need it. Cole wanted to leave again. He says he really needs to get his surgery, but Strong say he needed one last thing. So it looks like we'll get another segment, which I'm totally okay with because I kind of enjoy this again. I think the MJF and Cole segments, like we were saying, were kind of jumping the shark, and we're getting like they were losing the magic, right? So I think Roddy being put in these more consistently has breathed new life into the storyline as a whole.
Yeah.
So I like that. Also, keeping Cole on TV is nice. I find having Cole having to push his scooter and like moving the lawnmower was pretty funny. And then the Kingdom pushing Ryan to keep up with him just to criticize.
That was my
Cole.
favorite part because it's as much work to push Roddy in the wheelchair to criticize Cole's mowing as just pushing the mower, right? So that was funny too.
Yeah. The explanation for the giraffe was pretty funny. And I feel kind of dumb for not making that connection. Like it makes sense, and it makes it a little funnier even if it is the Kingdom. Also enjoy Roddy subtly cutting Cole off from MJF in the outside world. No service TV is coincidentally the devil. So I enjoyed this. I thought this was a nice change of pace from what we've been getting.
I thought it was fun, entertaining, but like to nitpick it, I don't know why Cole would keep doing it, but
because it's his friend, and well, I feel like it's because he feels like Roddy might think he's been neglecting this whole time, so this is kind of a makeup for that, and like. Because Roddy, he also cares about Roddy still at the end of the day. And
if Roddy had nobody else there, it'd be different. But he has, and they are, like, I get it. It's part of the comedy that they...
I think it's just the guilt trip thing, right?
Yeah, I'm entertained, so it's fine.
Next we get Ray Phoenix versus Jon Moxley. Wait, no, he's not cleared. It's my boy, Orange Cassidy, which, again, is weird because Jon Moxley is my boy. But it's a weird... universe we live in, folks. For the AEW International Championship, Mox is not cleared, so guess what? It's time to reset the timeline. Cassidy has his backpack out with him.
Foreshadow.
Early on, Phoenix gets that rope walk kick for 2. Didn't get all of it, glancing blow, whatever you want to call it. Then a basement super kick after the kick out, which he definitely connected with because I thought that looked pretty nice.
Was that when the Taz was like...
Yes.
Well scouted. I think maybe he did catch him because he wasn't expecting him to Orange to sell it because he missed him. And then Orange sold it, and Taz had to be like, oh, maybe he did get him.
Yeah. Phoenix got a frog splash for 2. Phoenix went for his Blackfire driver. I remember the name. But his back gives out. Then Cassie drop kicks him in the back, saying that's head. So I thought that was nice. And then Phoenix sent him over, Cassie sent Phoenix over the barricade. Cassie grabbed Phoenix's foot and tripped him on the apron, which I thought looked pretty good. Diving DDT absolutely spikes Phoenix, and then Cassie hits the tilt-a-whirl DDT, spiking him again for 2. Phoenix sold the crap out of those.
Both of them looked really good.
Those look phenomenal. Phoenix goes for a rolling cutter, but his back gives out. Cassie hits a beach break for 2. Finish comes in. Cassie hits an orange punch and rolls him up for the mousetrap, and the timeline is reset, and all is right in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it was I liked it because it's like Cassidy wants the title so badly, he's willing to target a pre-existing injury, right?
Which happened to him like time and time again.
He actually cares about something. I like that. And the DDTs looked awesome. It was like only 5 minutes, but I thought it was fun while it lasted, right? And it kind of feels like the story of Cassidy more focused and aggressive in his efforts to get the title back. Is there a universe where he can turn heel?
No.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. I just think like maybe, but like I don't see it as very likely. I think just the money is him and as this fighting champion, just like, and like I think now it's evolved into not only is he the fighting champion, but like him finally finding something worth caring about to him, that like worth fighting for to him. So I like that this was kind of his redemption. I like the mini story they were telling over the weeks with like the little bits of hook where you can see it getting to him that he's like depressed without this title. So I really like that. I am so happy with this though. The match itself was pretty good. I thought.
I knew you would be.
It was a cool change of pace, like Cassidy going after an injury and just like it felt like him fighting with a purpose, which I thought was really cool. It's all the story of Phoenix being banged up. I don't know why he's complaining because Cassidy went on for months like that. So I think Phoenix is just kind of sensitive. We had a match where Cassidy wasn't the one signing the injury. The kind of role reversal here, or how the turntables have turned, as the famous saying goes. It led to being Cassidy more dominant in a match, which is weird, but still was good. I'm so happy he won the title back though. I just like I got spoiled on this and it was just like the pure joy was just it was so nice. It's like AEW's been listening to me because they actually gave me what I wanted, and I was correct in my assumption because you kind of doubted me, but that like Moxley probably would Phoenix would have lost the title either way.
I think so
because he's got visa issues and whatnot, so it was likely that whoever faced him would have taken the title back. I feel like Cassidy probably would have beaten Moxley eventually if Moxley had kept the belt, just because I feel like the hook segments were planned, and I feel like his redemption arc was planned. It just probably would have been more of a spectacle, I feel like, for him to, because this was, like you said, a really short match, but I'm super happy about this because he had a phenomenal title run that really won me over in the end. I think you too, but myself more so.
For sure. Just enjoyed it.
He had some phenomenal matches, and he really won me over. But then I think I've come to really love Orange Cassidy this year, to the point where I wanted him to beat my boy, right? So
he's like in the Wrestler of the Year.
He's in the conversation. I would absolutely at least like nominate him. I don't know if he's winning, but he absolutely deserves a place in there, which is crazy. But I'm super happy he's back with the belt because it just feels right. He made that belt what it is. He made that belt the AEW's main mid-card title, in my opinion. So I'm super happy it's back where it belongs, and I'm hoping next week we can get back to what we've missed for quite a bit. Next we get a brief bit for Toni Storm, which was basically just her announcing like she has doing a silent film, and they aired during picture-in-picture.
And we watched some of it,
which I thought was, now while we didn't see the whole thing, I like the idea of that because I think that's really smart.
It got us watching
to get people to watch picture-in-picture, because the like silent films, it's silent already, and picture-in-picture is always silent. So I think it's kind of smart. I would like to see one without the commercial break, but I think it's a smart use of that. So I thought that was kind of cool. They cut just before the film though, which is kind of weird, but I thought the idea was really cool though.
And I think they're just taking some risks with her doing this, and I appreciate that, right? I'm kind of enjoying it, to be honest. And so we'll see where it goes from here.
I thought the execution was solid. Like, we didn't see all of it, but I thought it was perfectly fine. I thought the idea of it was really cool, though.
Yep.
And next we get Wardlow versus Matt Sydal. Yay.
Returning Matt Sydal. Welcome back, Uncle Matt.
We love Matt Sydal. He had that one match I really liked with Kenny Omega and nothing else.
We have pictures with him.
Oh my god, whenever Dynamite becomes rewatchable, that's something I need to rewatch. That's the first Eliminator match that I remember.
It was good.
It was Sydal and Omega. I swear he had one with Joey Janela too, but I might be tripping. But that, I feel like that was with the trash can. That might have been Janela. I don't know. That match was really good though. I remember that every now and then, you know? Remember what happened to Mike Sydal?
I don't know.
That's the real question. Notables, their shoulders to gut in the corner from Wardlow, and then he powerbombed Sydal to death. I can sum this up in 2 sentences because that's all I wrote. I don't care. This was the same lame Wardlow routine. Also, where was this care from the refs when Jericho was out there with Hobbs? They didn't stop that match, and
that's a great point.
Killed him. He killed him for like 7 minutes, and this was like 17 seconds. Or that's exaggeration, but
yeah, it's like not only is this super stale because it feels like we're just circling back to we already did this thing
We
where
did this like a year ago.
and it also follows an extended squash already. So and again, you're right, the ref didn't stop anything then.
And I think that one was more effective and more interesting to me.
And for me, Wardlow, like as they say, the bloom is off the rose at this point, right? Like Hobbs is a way more interesting version of Wardlow. I don't need to see both, especially not whatever half an hour apart. So this was nothing for me.
I didn't need to see this regardless of what else was on the show, but I think Hobbs having a more interesting and more effective squash already, or just a dominant match at least, was all I needed, and I don't need Wardlow. I don't like him anymore. I don't want him around. I don't see a spot for him that
me
is
either.
really satisfying.
There's many other people that could use that spot.
No, again, WWE, please take him.
They will.
Just as soon as possible. Because I don't. With no disrespect to the guy, but I don't have the interest anymore. Next we get an update. Speaking of which, on Jericho. He's with Renee. And he's getting like looked at or whatever. Then Garcia comes and asks Renee how he's doing. She's like,
no jazz, people, no.
Then yeah,
I don't.
And then
want
Menard
this.
asks what he's doing. Garcia says he's checking on someone they used to care about. Menard says they're better than this now, and he leaves. Then Garcia slowly leaves. This was fine. It's nice they're doing something with Garcia, but this kind of feels like a backtrack.
They were just getting out of his orbit, and now they're pulled back in.
Yeah, this feels like a disconnect because the whole jazz playing segment was they were all annoyed at him for whatever it was, and they all left him. And Guevara was the one who stayed, but now he's the one who turned on Jericho. And like, yeah, I don't know why we need to do this again.
So both Guevara and Garcia have 180'd on their positions in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think Garcia should be focusing on like he should be becoming a wrestler again.
Yes.
And ditching the sports entertainment thing. I think like because he's still kind of affiliated with the ex-Jazz people, so I think he should split from them and maybe like wreck them and like just wreck them with submissions or whatever. Like he could plow through 2.0 and then beat Hager on like you could just do a little rampage arc or something.
Yep.
But this is a regression.
I agree.
The ruthless regression. Next we get Hangman Page versus Switchblade Jay White in a match I'm very
this was
looking forward to. Jay White says he's 3-0 I think against Hangman, including the Forbidden Door Fatal 4-Way. First match between these two on AEW, so that's nice. I saw that Jay White's undefeated in singles competition.
Nice.
Juice and the Guns, they come out in like the little kid trikes that have like the big front wheels and the small back wheels.
Homage to Taker? Question mark. That was my question.
That was pretty funny. If it's an homage to Taker, that's pretty funny. I also thought it was funny because it had the same vibe as the Out the Mud entrance from No Mercy, except this one felt intentional because it's supposed to be funny because Bullet Club Gold are funny.
Juvenile parody of Taker, it kind of felt like, which I liked.
I liked it, yeah. And Juice is riding out with Cardblade, which is just they're just funny, man. I love Bullet Club Gold so much. Chops and forearm strikes from Hangman early on. Pop-up powerbomb on the apron from Hangman. We get the pop-up sit-up powerbomb in the ring from Hangman for a 2 count. Front chancery suplex in the turnbuckles from Switchblade, which is pretty cool. Switch hits a shin breaker on the apron and so yeah, he was going after the knee throughout the match, which I don't know if there's a specific reason other than to take out the buckshot. Even so, that's okay. Moonsault fallaway slam from Hangman from the top, which that always looks awesome. White hits his Uranagi for a 2 count, which the way he does it, just there's some oomph
spinning
to it.
Solo?
Yeah, it was a spinning solo, yeah. Forearms are rolling over from Hangman. Hangman looks for the buckshot, but he sticks his boot out like he does like the boot to keep distance from White, but he catches the boot and hits the dragon screw in the ropes. Later on, Orihara moonsault to the outside from Hangman. Ankles of granite. I guess knee of granite too, because that targeting didn't seem to take effect there. Flatliner and somewhat deadlift German suplex from White for 2, which is pretty cool. Snap half and half from White. It was honestly like an Omega Snapdragon, except a half, which was pretty sweet. Then he took a second for a guns up, and then Hangman came back with a lariat. Just clocked him. Hangman went for a buckshot, but the knee gave out, which paid off for White. Then he went for a Blade Runner, but Hangman avoids it, hitting a Deadeye for 2, which looked really good. Bullet Club Gold tried to distract the ref, so that kind of created the count delay. Bullet Club Gold distract the ref again, then Nana he tries to hit Hangman with the crown, but Hangman stops it. The distraction on the switch would get a deep roll up with the fistful of Tice for the win. Then post-match, MJF comes out. He's fired up. He calls White an SOB and says he has his pay-per-view mania and he got what he wants. Now MJF wants the Triple B back. White tells him to hang on. He says he just went to 4-0 with Hangman and says people want to hear from him and not MJF. He tells the fans to shh, and he says he was going to give it back, but the fans are being rude, so it's their fault that he won't give it back to MJF. MJF says he knows White because he was him, and he's still not far out, but he's trying to be better. He says White will do whatever it takes to get what he wants, and he will use people to get it. He's basically saying he's using Bullet Club Gold to get where he wants to be, and he would know because that's straight out of the MJF playbook with the firm, I guess, which that's weird because that was like only a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? The Pinnacle. That's what it was. But unlike White, he tries to be a better man every day, which is kind of amusing. MJ says that for the first time in his life, he doesn't punch his reflection. He's earned the fans' respect. He says the two things he cares most about is the Triple B and Adam Cole. He says the AEW title is his life and legacy because winning the AEW title makes you the best in the world. He says he would have broken White's legs and neck and taken the belt back if his goons weren't there. He says he knows how good White is, and he'll be world champion one day, but that day is not today because Full Gear is not yet come. And he tells him to do the right thing and be a man for once and give him back his title that he has not yet earned. White thanks him for coming and asking instead of jumping him in a devil mask. He says MJF asking for it, but like he said, it has to be earned, and he has his shot at the title at Full Gear, and he will fail, but he must be patient. He says the Max can't be patient. He can come down and try to take it, but he has no friends, so he won't. He says if you can find 3 people that can even tolerate him and face Bullet Club Gold, then maybe he'll have the Bang Bang belt back, which I liked. Juice gets on the mic and says he heard about the Dynamite Dives in Battle Royal, so he's calling a shot for that. He's going to kick his ass and take his ring, so they'll have everything he loves. I like Juice gunning for that. I assume that means he'll probably be the finalist to face MJF.
Feels like
and MJF will probably win it, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I like Juice at least getting that little spotlight there. Juice says he has a present for him, and he's got a World of Quarters with Freeman on them. It says he'll give them to him after, and MJF kind of like flies off the handle after that because of his past, and then White leaves him with the guns up.
Yeah, I thought it was another pretty awesome match. I wasn't as big a fan of the finish this time. I thought it was too similar to like Swerve Danielson, but a really, really good back and forth match.
I do agree it was similar, but I'm okay with it just because it's gonna further that feud again. I think it makes sense for Swerve to he's not gonna let it slide. So yeah. I'm okay with it.
The crowd was really into it. The promos at the end were lengthy, but I think MJF's a little inconsistent only because, like, when Punk was claiming to be the real world champ and spray painted a belt and whatever, Punk didn't even acknowledge it. But now he is the champion. It's just his belt is gone, and it's like it's the end of the world all of a sudden.
Yeah,
anyways.
I feel like that might be less of a kayfabe problem and more of a real life thing. I feel like that's a little out of...
Yeah,
I agree with that, but I feel like that's more of up to, how Punk is and just the way, just all the real life politics that are involved with Punk having his own belt. I feel like that was maybe not within their control, so that's probably, I feel like there's a fair reason for MJ ignoring it, in real life, obviously, but kayfabe, it does create the inconsistency for sure.
I still find MJF as a babyface a bit strange, because now he's just the whole trying to make myself better every day and stuff. It's just weird.
It is for sure.
I did he took some time to put Jay White over, which I always appreciate. And I found it strange because he used the same line that Taker would use in NXT. Because when he was talking to Braun, he said something about
that day's not today.
Yeah, blah,
he's
blah,
gonna
not
be,
today.
Yeah.
So that was interesting that kind of worked out that way. But regarding Jay White, I really like his attitude and the whole group. It's MJF stands there and pours his heart out, and Jay White just doesn't care and just is a relentless prick, right? And then Juice, same idea. But he's got a completely different tone from Jay White. They're both really good in their own right, but super different, and it works together.
Juice is just funny the second
so I
he
enjoy
says
them.
one word.
Yeah.
I see people freaking out about the whole anti-Semitism thing about because the coins and the
First
whole
of all,
thing
Juice has always used
Juice has done that before a bunch of times.
Second of all, MJF's obviously okay with it.
Yeah, because
he knows what
it's not the first time that's come up for him, right? And he's talked about it before.
And he's going to use that as motivation for his character, right? It's going to be part of it. So
I don't think there's really an issue there.
And I also don't think anyone that's not in the know is really going to pick up on much. I know commentary sort of explained it, but I don't know.
I don't think it's
if it doesn't bother MJF, who the hell am I to say it bothers me?
Right. Yeah, if it's making it to TV, clearly MJF doesn't care, and that's the only thing that really matters.
Yeah.
Because if it's CM Punk, he's flying off the handle about it. For real. But I enjoyed this match, yeah, very much as I expected. This match in Danielson versus Swerve were the two I was really looking forward to on paper. As a fan of actual pro wrestling, as I've said already, this was much more interesting than NXT's offerings.
Absolutely.
Anywho, I thought this was a really good TV match. Again, these two are just fantastic, and I wouldn't expect anything less. The story of targeting Hangman's knee I thought was really nice from White, and it paid off when Hangman went for the buckshot, so I like that. That was kind of cool. And I disappointed no Blade Runner, but still, knew these two would mesh great together, and it was as good as it sounded. White has more methodical pace, but his offense is crisp and it's impactful, and he's great. Bang Bang Gang's antics are always entertaining. That group as a whole is just. It's honestly comedy gold. They're just so fun to watch.
I think AEW knows what they have with them.
I think they do now, yes, and it's just they're so entertaining to watch. They're so fun to watch, and I love them. Finish was satisfying too, because clearly Hangman and Swerve were not finished, so that's more than fine by me. The post match was pretty good too. The promos were somewhat lengthy for a post match, but they were good, so I'm not gonna complain too much. MJ came in with good intensity, and like I was coming at Switchblade for being a selfish scumbag from the point of view, and I like MJ's kind of like he's acting like he's this reformed criminal who's like he's changed his ways, and so now he's at this high position to come at Switchblade for being the same as him.
Yeah.
And so I like it because under surface, let's be honest, MJF is the same. And I like what you were saying, like MJF's like giving you this heartfelt spiel, and he's coming at him with like this heart and soul, just.
And they don't consider it for a second.
And White does not give a crap at all, so I love it. He really made me laugh because MJ was saying like White's got to earn the title and whatever, and then White's like, and it made me really laugh that he was saying like MJ's got to earn the title and he's got a shot, even though White's literally holding a stolen belt, because like the stolen belt trope or whatever, it's typically annoying, it never works, but like Jay White's making me like it, man. Like I don't usually like the stolen belt thing, but he looks cool with it, and he makes it funny too. Like just when it's Bullet Club Gold, I will let things slide because they make things entertaining and it's funny.
I'm telling you, they're DX-ish when DX was really good. Like they were just like the brash, like
and they're just like obviously a different way from Swerve, but like Swerve, they are just cool.
Yep. Cool.
It just in very different ways, obviously, because completely different tones, but nonetheless, both just very cool. Bang Bang Belt makes me laugh. I like that, and the entrance is really funny too.
Still the Triple B.
That's true. See, that's probably part of it. Then we get a match involving Saraya. It's Saraya defending the women's title against Hikaru Shida. Excalibur mentioned Shida won the title shot on Rampage, I think, a couple weeks ago. Yet this has no build. That's funny.
Yeah, weird. Not surprising.
So strange.
In a way.
Step up Enziguri from Shida early on. Didn't get all of that. Saraya was laying on the apron. Shida hit a running knee. Then Ruby Soho comes in, and commentary tried to play as like she's disguised as like a crew member or whatever, but she honestly looks more like a burglar or a ninja. Take your pick. She tries to spray paint Shida, but Shida catches her and spray paints Soho in the face. Then Storm runs down and hits Soho with her shoes and chases her off. Brackets, watch out for the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Running jumping knee from Shida. German suplex on apron from Shida, which looked okay. It looked good the first time, and then they replayed it from another angle. It just looked kind of slow and looked like Saraya kind of landed on Shida's shoulder, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Saraya, quote unquote, catches Shida with the thrust kick. When Shida just kind of like quote unquote jumped off the top rope and just did nothing.
Right.
And it looked horrible. And then
it did.
Saraya hit the Rampage for 2. She hit a Falcon Arrow for 2. Then Saraya countered the pin back for 2. And then she rolled her back up for the win. And so Shida gets another random title.
3-time champion.
Yep.
Yeah, the match was pretty good. There were a couple of moments that weren't super clean. Very happy with the title change. And I hope that like this is the sign that AEW management are like, we're going to cut our losses with Saraya. She's not a draw. She's not interesting in the ring. Shida's the safe choice, but I'm just worried that that's like her legacy.
Yeah.
Is
I
like,
mean,
she's
we
the
should
one
appreciate her more, at least as the outcast killer, but
when we had no better options, we put the title on Shida. She's really good. I really like her, but I want to know more about her and to develop her character a bit. She's a 3-time champion, and I don't know anything about her, right? So spend some time doing that. But yes, the belt's off Saraya. Hopefully she can go to the back burner. We can barely see her. That'd be fine. So yeah,
that's the dream.
In that sense, this was fine.
This is fine. It was about as good as I would have expected. I'm glad the Saraya experimental title run of Doom or whatever it was is over. Great for I'm happy for Shida for getting the title again, but it's 2 random outcast title runs and 2 equally random Shida title wins. I'm happy she gets this, but this win and when she beat Storm had little to no build up, and just feel like they come out of nowhere and not in the good way, right? It just feels kind of they just feel random and empty. So they really need to give Shida some depth and give her some evolution, because I'd like for her to have a good run.
Me too.
She had a long run with her first title run and she was solid, but she still needs more development, I think.
For sure.
So hopefully that's that, and hopefully it's not another transitional run, but
could be.
Who knows? Maybe she turns it into Soho and then wins it back to be 4-time champion.
I think it's all just kind of when Hayter gets back, we can get back to whatever you were going to do in the first place.
Yes, right?
Plan A was Hayter, and I agree with it.
And there's always a plan B. Triple H quote. Next we get an MJF interview. He says he doesn't feel like being interviewed, and Renee leaves. He tries to call Cole. Cole actually answers this time. MJF asks where he's been. Cole says he's still at Rise and he needs his help. MJF updates him on everything, basically, and Cole has to leave abruptly. Then Caster and the Acclaimed come in, and he approaches him about how the Acclaimed helping MJF. MJF walks away kind of disgusted, and so Bill's kind of questioning why he's offering their service and why he's obsessed with MJF. And Caster says they started wrestling together, and he claims they're friends. This was solid for this Cole and MJF a little bit. And then Caster's involvement here is still a little confusing, but at least they gave us some context. And yeah, I think, because remember you said MJF supposed to only have one friend. I think that is the case, but I feel like Caster has this perceived level of friendship just because they have that history with each other. So I don't mind that though, and I think MJF and the Acclaim could be really funny. So I'm willing to see where that goes.
And if you're doing the whole Caster's almost a stalker, they're sometimes delusional and think they're friends with the person they're stalking,
exactly,
or whatever, right?
Which is weird because they're baby faces, but the Acclaimed are weird. So
and
who knows?
It kind of makes Cole look stupid, but I'm still kind of okay with it. It's entertaining, and it seems like this is the first time the Acclaimed aren't on the same page, right? Because Daddy Ass was not happy.
Yeah. I don't think it's a full-on dissension thing.
No,
that just
but it's the first little ripple.
But yeah,
something.
It's at least maybe it's nothing, but I don't mind that there. Yeah. Next we get Christian Cage speaking words in the ring this time. He said he left people's jaws on the floor with the 3 words they said to Edge last week. He said he found it interesting that when Edge said that Christian's friends, Luchasaurus, and funny on TGR, I did find TGR for this week. So
finally,
thankfully, John is present. He wrote Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, so I think he meant Nick Wayne, fella. He went that they're gonna turn on him. Christian said he's not their leader, he's their father, and he made some Judgment Day reference, which I thought was a nice dig at Edge. He said that Edge wanted them to finish their careers together, but it's funny that the same sentiment wasn't there years ago when he was, even though he was more talented and Adam was pushed to the moon.
I like that.
Yeah. Christian wondered where his tag team aspirations were back then. He said that his career keeps climbing to new heights since he's the most talked about star in this business. He said that Edge needed him while Christian doesn't need him. Christian said he has a lot of fans around the world and said he knows Adam's wife Beth is a huge fan. Christian said Luchasaurus will end him right now. He said that he would know that his daughters Ruby and Lyric. I don't know.
Lyric, yeah, pretty sure.
That's not a good name. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Name what you want to name your kids.
That they'll be safe while telling Beth to put some clean sheets on the bed because your new father's coming
Love
home.
that line.
Then Edge ran down, but Nick Wayne grabbed his leg and Luchasaurus jumped him.
Yeah, I thought, again, just an awesome promo from him. Although it's is Edge an idiot? Did he not talk to his best friend and quote unquote brother and just to say hey, maybe I'll come work where you work and we can he just showed up and Christian had no idea. They didn't talk to his best friend about it. You just took your career advice from your kids and away you went. You bought in,
I guess.
But anyways, but I do like the whole as your career is waning, suddenly you want to run it back and be a tag team. But man, when they were making you the face of the company and throwing all opportunities at you, you weren't super interested in it then, right? And the problem is I agree with him, and he's supposed to be the heel.
I like that it was kind of there's definitely some heel logic in there, I feel because it's just but he's not wrong. But yeah, no, because he's not completely wrong. because he's definitely above Edge now for sure.
And put some clean sheets on the bed because your new father's coming home is a good line.
That's killer.
Good stuff. So I thought he was super entertaining.
If there's no dead parent references, it's good to know he'll go after the wives.
Has to.
He never misses. He always finds something to amuse me. You gotta love it. I like what he had to say though. I liked his point of view. And it makes sense that Edge, or that he thinks that Edge wouldn't want to deal with him then. And yeah, I think Christian has definitely evolved beyond him. His words about the really funny. I think the finishing line was really funny, and I like it better because I hated her on NXT commentary very much. And we cut right into Edge versus Luchasaurus, which is our main event. As Luchasaurus kind of attacked Edge at the end of that segment, they just kind of bled into each other, which I kind of figured would happen. Early on, Luchasaurus hit a nice tombstone to Edge for 2, which looked good, but it also works because Edge has the neck injury history, much like Bryan Danielson and Saraya. Combo of palm strikes in the corner from Luchasaurus. It was nice, really fast. Like it was like a 1-2 to the midsection, then the uppercut palm strike. Forearms from Edge, but Luchasaurus shuts him down with a sidekick. Edge runs out the apron, hit a tornado DDT, which was solid. Edge connected with a superplex later on. Nick Wayne put a chair in the corner when the ref was distracted, and Luchasaurus dodges a spear, and Edge goes into the chair in the corner. Chokeslam from Luchasaurus for 2 after that. Edge runs off the apron, then off the stairs, which were sideways at ringside, and he hits like a diving spear, which was okay.
It was okay.
I thought. It was creative at least.
Not as impactful as it could have been, but it was okay.
No, their creativity was there. Nick Wayne distracts the ref, and Christian tries to hit Edge with the TNT title, but Edge takes it from him and hits Luchasaurus in the back of the head with it. Then once Luchasaurus recovers, he turns around and thinks Christian did it, so that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Then Edge nails the spear for the win after all the commotion. Then Danielson runs down to save Edge from a beatdown from the heels, but he gets beat down too, and then the rest of Blackpool, minus Mox, obviously, come to even the odds after a brawl breaks out. Mogul Embassy come down to attack Blackpool because their Gates of Agony are facing Blackpool on Rampage, which is just random. Then Gates of Agony and Blackpool are brawling. Christian's brawling with Danielson. Hangman runs down to take out Swerve or fight with him. Spear Nick Wayne as Danielson taps out Christian and the bell lock to close the show.
Yeah, I thought the match was fine, but it pales in comparison to a couple others on the same show, right? So Luchasaurus did look dominant with his deliberate like powerhouse offense. But I found myself like just waiting for the inevitable Edge comeback and win, right? Because you know what's happening. So it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you're just kind of waiting for it, right?
And then how many distraction finishes on this show, right? I thought they had like new protocols in place to make sure the same thing didn't happen multiple times, but it did here. But no, like a fine match, but again, nothing. I'm not super excited for Edge to be there, so this is not for me. I much preferred other matches on this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was a perfectly fine team match. I don't think it was amazing or anything, but I wouldn't say it was bad or whatever. It was what I expected. Edge has been in WWE for decades, basically his whole career, so I assume he's only wrestled that style. And even if he has wrestled other styles, he's fully used to that. So I wasn't expecting him to completely reinvent himself. The most WWE match in AEW that I've seen, I think, but it was fine. Still beats Fastlane in my opinion. Edge was solid in his first outing, and Luchasaurus plays role perfectly. He got some solid stuff in, but at the end of the day, he was just the win for Edge. Nice they teased some dissent between him and Christian, though. I'm glad they got that in, like that, and that's finally starting. It seems, even if it's just a breadcrumb, that's at least like the first kind of acknowledgement of that. Instead of speculation. The crazy melee to end the show was nice. It felt like Dynamite of old a little.
It definitely did.
And not in a bad way. Just I miss like having the odd chaotic ending like that. Sure. So I'm okay with that. Like because we had this. And I think there was one before. Was it Forbidden Door when Ospreay showed up? Like that was a bit of a chaotic one. I think it's totally fine to have one of these every now and then, especially leading up to a pay-per-view. I think it's totally fine. Obviously, no pay-per-view here, but still works. Christian's visual tableau was nice as well, and solid way to end the show. Totally fine.
Yeah. Overall, I really liked this show. We got 2 matches I really liked, Swerve's and Paige's matches, and 2 title changes, a bunch of segments I thought were entertaining. Samoa Joe was awesome. Bullet Club Gold's really entertaining. The Cole stuff's been pretty good. So I kind of really liked this show. It blew NXT out of the water. Felt kind of important. I actually went A-. I thought I like the strength of a lot of the segments this week, right? I liked a lot of the non-in-ring stuff. So it's even like Christian's promo at the beginning, awesome. You know, Samoa Joe, awesome. A lot of stuff. And even though Jericho Hobbs wasn't a good match, I like the direction they're going and the choice they made there. I really like this show.
I hate because I saw this thing like that AEW, when you go, it feels like a collection of indie matches on a show.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a fair sentiment sometimes, but even then, there's usually like the segments set it apart, right? And I feel like it's to say that just as a general statement is discrediting it a lot, because I feel like
you
the
could
show
say the
is,
matches are more indie style, sure,
but like,
because they
and
do
sometimes
stuff.
they're random, but yeah, but like I don't know. I think that was definitely not the case here. I agree. I thought this was a really good show. I think they definitely made the most of the Title Tuesday thing and making it different, because obviously they had to do something to kind of keep viewership for switching nights, which they did to the best of their ability. I think the opener was a really great match. I thought I really enjoyed that. I love Switch Hangman as well. I thought those were a pair of really fun matches. Really strong. I thought Cassie Phoenix was good for what it was too, and super great result. I'm really happy for Cassie to get that back. I'm looking forward to an open challenge next week.
You are.
Hoping we get back. I just want to get right back on the horse as soon as possible. Hobbs Jericho was interesting, but still I think something worth my time. Can't say the same for Wardlow or Saraya, but they both existed as well. And Edge vs. Lucha was perfectly fine. Like, it's exactly what you expect, and it was totally harmless, I think. And then I thought, like, segment-wise, I enjoyed Joe and Christian as well. The both Christian segments I thought were good. I thought Bullet Club Gold were super great. Like, I love them so much. They're just super entertaining. They're a great act to have, and I'm really glad that Jay White's getting a top program, because it means more for him, more for Bullet Club Gold. I just want more for them because they're just super fun to watch. I love seeing them every week. It's great to see them. Roddy and Cole I thought were really funny too. Like, that was a nice little addition, and Storm was solid. I thought generally this was pretty good. The positives definitely outweighed the negatives here, so I would also agree with the A-. So I thought this was really strong. Title Tuesday definitely paid off in my opinion, and by far the better show, despite what the ratings say.
Yep, I agree a bit easily. We'll get to NXT shortly. But now, before we do that, we're going to take a little break here and get into a little bit of trivia. As we approach 1 o'clock, we got to get this thing moving, man. It's what we call Off the Top of His Head. All right, so this week is WWE Superstars. I think it's mostly their first ring names. A couple of them might be just names they were known by previously, but I think a lot of them are like their first ring names in, I think, WWE. So we'll see how it goes. First one's really easy. Kevin Owens. Previously known as?
He's always Kevin Owens in WWE.
So then who was he before that?
Kevin Steen.
Okay.
So it's not WWE, or
most of them are their first match in WWE. Like the next one, The Miz had his first match in WWE under this name.
Mike Mizanin?
Correct.
Okay,
so this is kind of how things are going. Drew McIntyre. In 2007, Drew fought some matches in OVW under this name. He
wasn't Galloway, was he?
He was.
Okay.
It was Drew Galloway.
I swear he went under something else, but
you got that one.
Galloway was a safe bet.
Yeah. Gunther kept this name for a long time. That's part of it, but I know his real name's Walter. So there was stuff in front of it.
I don't know.
Big Van Walter.
All right. Right. Big Van Vader. So potato.
Maybe that's what we were going for there. Okay. I did not know this one. You might, just because you tend to know things. Liv Morgan. First ring name was.
What's it her real name?
I don't know.
Like Gianna something?
Yes.
Like, is it Daddy-O?
It is.
That's her real name.
Okay.
So.
You got that one. I don't know why you would know that, but anyways, why you know Liv Morgan's real name, but you do. Nia Jax.
I don't even care to guess, honestly.
She went from Zeta to Lena to Nia Jax, apparently.
I think Lena's her real name.
Could be. What about Cesaro? First match?
Castagnoli.
So this one's saying in WXW Extreme, where his name was...
Was he Claudio?
No, but Claudio Castagnoli Double C, because I don't know how to get you to that. He's going by Double C.
His name's Double C?
That's what it was, yeah.
Like that, the words Double C?
Yes, Double C instead of Claudio Castagnoli, double C.
Ew.
Like double A Arn Anderson.
Well, like, oh wait, that's a nickname or
Yeah,
like his?
that was his ring name.
Like double C Claudio Castagnoli or just double C?
Double C.
Just straight up double C.
Double C.
Just
That's
that.
what it says here. I don't know how much clarification you need. Finn Balor.
Devitt?
Partially.
Prince Devitt?
No.
Fergal Devitt?
Correct.
I think that's his name.
It is. But these are also names they use to wrestle with.
No, I'm just saying. I think that's his name.
Paul Heyman.
Dangerously? Would it be?
What was the full name?
Paulie Dangerously.
Correct. Xavier Woods.
Consequences Creed?
They went with Creed, but a different one.
Austin Creed?
Correct.
I know that's his real name. I don't know if he ever used it because I know he was Consequences
Maybe they're mixing
Creed.
everything.
I don't know if he ever used it. I'm not going to say it's wrong, but I don't know if he ever used it.
Mick Foley fought his first match in 96 with this name.
Jack Foley?
Correct.
I don't know why I knew that.
Chris Jericho started his wrestling career in 93. His first ring name was... I forgot this.
I feel like it's he had some lucha thing.
He did.
Because I know Benoit did that, and I don't know what he was.
Corazon de Leon.
Oh, I knew that. I forgot about that.
Kevin Nash, 1990, NWA.
Oz.
No.
Damn it.
NWA, not WCW.
Well, same difference. No, Diamond Stud was Hall. I don't know.
Master Blaster Steel.
No, no. I've definitely heard that before, but I never would have gotten that.
Booker T had a previous name when he came into the industry. Did not know this one.
I didn't. I don't think. If you don't know it,
Cole.
I don't think I know it either.
Mickey
Cole?
James. I remember this being her independent name.
Oh, I know it.
I know you do.
This isn't like Alexis.
It is.
Something?
Alexis.
I don't know why I even know that.
You got that.
I don't know.
Laree.
Yeah. Okay. I've definitely heard that.
Yeah, I know you've heard that.
I don't know why I know that, but
what name did Jeff Hardy use when he had his underage match against Razor Ramon?
I feel like he was Jeff Hardy. No.
No, they're not. They're saying no.
What was he then?
It says fought his first match against Razor Ramon on Raw, where he was named Keith Davis.
I don't think so, but that might be right.
We have to fact check this. This is an AI, so
Jeff Hardy.
Just even put Keith Davis, Jeff Hardy, and see what comes up.
Right. Oh. No, that's right.
Nice. Okay. Right. Santino Marella's first ring name before it changed to Boris Alexiev.
Was his real name like Anthony
Nope.
Corelli?
It was another Russian-sounding name.
Really? That's weird.
Boris Kozlov. I don't think you'll get that.
The son of Boris Zukov and recent returnee Vladimir Kozlov?
Ezekiel... Elias. What was Elias's first name? I've never heard
Elias
this.
Sampson?
Logan Shulo. This is hard. Robert Roode stepped into wrestling in 2001. Fought his first match under a different name.
Bobby Roode.
No, Rudy Roode.
Roberto Roode. That's a
regular sized Rudy. Regular sized Rudy Roode. Sasha Banks.
Was it?
It is. Well, was it what?
Mercedes
Vernado? Was just Mercedes.
Oh.
I remember this because I had heard of him before he got there. What was Sheamus known?
Sheamus O'Shaughnessy?
Correct.
Yeah.
AJ Lee?
Was she AJ Mendez?
Nope. First match in 2008 in NWS where she used the name Miss April. I've heard that before. Veer Mahan?
Was he Rinku Singh or was he
Wow, he was Rinku Singh.
Nice.
I don't even think I've ever heard that.
That was his name when they were in Indus the first time around because they had different names.
All right, a few more.
They weren't Sangha and Veer.
Easy one. Sami Zayn?
Generica?
Correct. Bailey?
No clue.
First match in 2011 where she was named Davina Rose.
Is that why her finisher is the Rose Plant?
Could be. Or maybe, yeah. Asuka's previous name?
Was it Kana or something?
Correct.
Yeah.
Very good. Edge's original name? I remember this.
Oh,
it's funny.
It's Sex.
Correct.
Something.
Yes.
I've just
we'll finish
seen
with
it
this
too.
one.
Sexton.
Yes.
Hardcastle.
Yes, Sexton Hardcastle.
Well done. I've been recently seeing that too. That's a weird thing.
Some of those were hard, but you got a bunch of them. All right, so let's get back into wrestling. Stuff we liked, stuff we didn't on whatever we watched. It's Highspots and Restholds. All right, start us off with anything from Raw that caught your eye.
Bit of a high spot. I thought it was interesting that Bronson Reed's next in line for Gunther. I think it's cool that he gets something to do, and it's an interesting combination.
He ain't winning,
so to speak. I don't know if he's getting powerbombed either.
Yeah, I don't know. He wins it. He has a million different ways to win. So
he'll probably chop them or something.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't heard much about Bronson Reed lately, to be honest.
Resthold was JD McDonough getting fed to Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, that sucks.
I'm still happy he gets on TV every week with the Judgment Day business, but I feel like it almost does a disservice when he gets used like this on TV, just kind of as the whipping boy. I like that. I like his role kind of creating issues in the Judgment Day, whether it's intentional or not. I like that he's just kind of like this point of like contention between Balor and Priest.
I think they think people like watching him get beat up.
Yeah,
I think that's the problem.
Yeah,
they're moving away from you're a technical star and savage to like you get beat up and people like it.
And I really like him. I like him trying to work his way into the Judgment Day. Think he should get some more wins and get him closer to joining them because this just doesn't deserve it.
Right.
It does a disservice to him.
He's great.
High spot, that back body drop though. Literal high spot.
Yeah, that was
if
big.
I've ever seen one.
Yeah. You showed me that clip.
Yeah.
That's
it from Raw, and then I got a couple from SmackDown.
All right, NXT Resthold. Cody Rhodes is the first thing we see on this episode, and I'm frustrated, but I don't mind the announcements he made. One was the men's breakout tournament,
which is good because I was just saying that we need that again.
And then the return of the Dusty Tag Team Classic, right?
No surprise there.
Oh, and by the way, he's the special guest GM of NXT. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, and this episode already feels too main roster for me. As Cody and a cheesy gimmick for like GM of the day, right? That's not something I need to
bring
see.
back that from Raw.
Dragunov comes out. The crowd chants "Happy Birthday" to him. I assume they knew and were right. And this episode already feels too main roster.
That almost makes me think it's his birthday.
Sorry, I already said that. He says some intense stuff, and then Dom and Rhea Ripley come out next, and the crowd hates Dom. And He and Dragunov go back and forth for a bit. Rhea whispers into Dom, and Dom asks Dragunov for a title match. Cody points out that Dom is not putting his title on the line. Dragunov doesn't really care. He just wants to hurt Dom, so Cody makes the match and names LA Knight their guest referee, just cuz.
Oh, yeah, I forgot he was on the show. So, yeah, main roster it up.
Yep, almost 15 minutes of main roster style stuff to start. Not a fan, although apparently people like this show, so I'm one of the ones that didn't, as you're going to find out real quick. Rhodes will make several more appearances on this show, but I won't punish you by complaining every time. Just know that he appears more times.
And we'll assume that you complained.
Resthold for me because it underdelivered. Roxanne Perez and Asuka pretty significantly underdelivered. Started out with Shotzi coming down to the ring in the tank to join commentary.
Which is always a high spot for me.
I said I wish Jack were here.
She doesn't even have her hair anymore, so it just looks weird.
She slightly after that announces she and Scarlett are hosting Halloween Havoc Night 1. This match is really...
Do you know if it's a TV special or PLE? So is it like 2 weeks?
I feel like, is it both? I don't know.
That would be an interesting idea to do like a half PLE.
That's what I was wondering.
That would be interesting.
I don't know.
I doubt it because I feel like they would go one or the
probably
other.
Should know, but
I feel like it's a TV special just because they just did a PLE, so I feel like they would just do a 2-week TV special like they did for Great American Bash. I think it was 2020, but I think a half PLE would be kind of interesting.
Could be. Just like really slow start. Like they're pacing themselves for a longer match, but then it was only 8 minutes, so that wasn't what they were doing. So Perez got in a bunch of stuff, but eventually lost to a series of pretty good looking kicks and strikes from Asuka. The last flurry of this was really cool with Asuka. The rest of it I thought was pretty basic. Kiana James comes down after to attack Roxanne, but Shotzi kicks her and gives her some DDT-ish thing. I don't know if
Kiana
it's a finisher.
James keeps getting chumped.
Yeah. High spot. I like the pub rules match. I told you it was Gallus and the Brawling Brutes of Holland, Butch, and Tyler Bate added to that group. Early on, they were some of the not silliness, but like pub themed stuff. So you got a pool cue to Wolfgang's eye, like he was actually shooting a pool. I forget who it was. I think it was Bate. We get a dart in Joe Coffey's hand. We then get a fire extinguisher, a bowling ball to a trash can with Mark Coffey in it. And then things kind of get more wrestling, and which I liked. Butch is basically double choke slam through a table. We get nice tandem offense from the Brawling Brutes. Wolfgang does a flip over the top. It does not go well. He should probably not do that. We get a triple submission applied by the baby faces. We get a mug smashed in the face of Joe, and then the triple power bomb, a very shield bomb, through a table, and the Brutes and Bait win after 11 minutes. Just a fun combination of pub-style weapons and actual wrestling in this. They got the kind of silly stuff out of the way right away, and then had a good tornado match that got a good amount of time. And I thought Bait and Butch are really good together. So I don't know if that's going forward. Bait's going to be with that group, or that's how he gets the main roster. I don't know. We'll see.
Perhaps.
I thought there was a cool hype video for Valkyria and Lynch's match, and they even had an Irish dude doing the voiceover. Really cool stuff. A lot of similarities between the two of them. Felt like, I don't know, grand is the word I used, and it made the match feel more important. And then I don't even remember the details. Lyra stood up to Tegan Knox. Oh, because Tegan Knox was like, I almost beat her, so I should be first to get another shot, not you. And Lyra was like, no, that's dumb. You lost. I'm next, kind of deal, I think, right? Another significant wrestle, John Cena, is on my NXT. I don't watch main roster for a reason. Please don't bring it to the only WWE product I enjoy, but you did, and you did it big time.
I don't see it as big of an issue, though, because it's not like they haven't already tainted what was once great.
John Cena in 2023 is a cartoon character now, right? The pandering.
Pretty much, yeah.
The earnestness, if that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It's almost as annoying as Cody, but for different reasons.
He has no need to be like a full-fledged character anymore, because he's not around enough to like.
He's like a cartoon,
be
honestly.
A full, like, he doesn't have to be as fleshed out anymore.
No, and this is him being company guy John Cena, pretending to care about NXT. While there's an actor strike and he can't act, right? Or writer strike, he can't act. So he'll come down and like put over NXT because I'm a company guy.
Oh, that's why he's having a mini run. Oh.
Braun Breaker.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah. Braun Breaker comes out to get the Cena rub. Cena says, change your attitude, young man. Like condescending. Like, who are you? I know you're John Cena, but whatever.
The promo, the way he does promos nowadays. Like,
awful.
It's been the past few years, but just like, especially when he tries to be like, all like witty or whatever, it's just like awful. It always rubs me the wrong way. I feel like
he tries to shake Braun's hand. Braun punches him, misses a spear, but barely escapes the attitude adjustment. I thought this was a big waste of my time. I actually liked the interview with Baron Corbin. He was getting interviewed. LA Knight's music interrupted him. He basically is like, Ilya Dragunov is ducking me. I beat Braun Breaker, and other than Melo surviving, Corbin's the only man to put Ilya down, and everybody around NXT is the same, he says. I think he just sounds really comfortable, and some of the logic here makes sense. High spot, Mysterio and Dragunov for the NXT Championship. You had LA Knight. I already told you about his outfit. He looked pretty funny.
Yeah.
Dom gets to work on his selling early on as Dragunov is just beating the crap out of him. Ripley distracts Knight, and Dom goes right to Dragunov's eyes. The crowd is really annoying. They are chanting "yeah" constantly, and it's not in a good way. It's just kind of detracts from this for me.
It's his thing.
And Dom calls for mommy. He's just getting dominated by Dragon. He's in the ring going, "Mommy!" Like it was pretty funny. And I told you I thought Dom was backing away from some of Dragunov's chops, like starting his movement back to sort of temper the blow a little bit. Dragunov picks up the intensity after being chopped by Dom. Powerbomb, H-bomb. Knight and Dragunov fight off JD McDonough and Balor, who get involved. Trick catches Rhea Ripley outside the ring, I think it was. Torpedo Moscow, Dragunov retains in 12 minutes. Corbin is on his way into the ring to attack Dragunov, but Dijak gets there first and boots Dragunov. So not a classic Dragunov match, but pretty good considering he's working with Dom, and a strong second half. Results never in doubt, but Dom and JD's shenanigans made for a more competitive match because we know Dom's thing is he can't really compete without a million people cheating for him. Resthold, Cena's back. He's with Trick and Mello, and they are just so deferential to Cena that it's annoying. You took two really cool, charismatic guys, and they're just bootlicking John Cena, and it makes me think less of them, frankly, right? Like, this is not what they should be doing. He should be like, I don't know, he should be not standing up to Cena, but like not wavering in his confidence and stuff just because Cena's there, right? Mello leaves. Trick asks Cena how he knew it was his time, and they go off to talk. I did like that part, right? Because it's, again, Mello leaves and Trick's like, yo, man, like, how did you know it was your time? Kind of like, furthering the Trick Mello stuff. Jade Cargill meets HBK in the parking lot. Don't care, just notable. Resthold, Danny Palmer, Lola Vice as part of the, what is it, breakout tournament for women.
Yeah, the women's one.
Wasn't terrible, not very good. They're both inexperienced but have potential. 4 minutes, Vice won with like the black mass, basically, I guess. Palmer, I will say, did a crazy twisting flip out of the corner and landed on her feet. That was pretty nuts. But she also did like a standing double knees, and it looked really weak. Anyways, JC Jane infiltrates Chase U, causes a bit of chaos. Chase and Hudson are going to be in the Bada Bing, Bada Boom tag team battle royal thing. And Chase whipped someone's cell phone, and it actually stuck into the drywall. That was funny. Heyman masterfully motivates Braun Breaker ahead of the main event, just sort of like hyping him up and stuff, right? Doing classic Paul E stuff that only he does. We then get, did you see this? The Pillman Jr. segment?
I've seen bits of it.
It was good. Everyone thought his dad was so great, but he didn't, kind of thing, right? His dad died when he was 4. He's done a bunch of other things, but wrestling's in his blood. So eventually he came to NXT, and his name will be King. He's taking the name of the man that actually raised him, which I think is true because bit of research. His sister, Alexis Pillman, passed away in a car accident.
Yeah, I don't love the name on its own, but I like that.
So that's where Lexus
I like
comes
there's at
from.
least meaning behind his whole name, because then it makes me like, at least it makes sense, right? And I like that there's purpose behind it.
And then his mother is Melanie Pillman King. She passed away in 2022. So obviously the King part, I think, is maybe for stepdad or whatever. So taking that name. I thought this was a cool vignette. It helps to address his WWE name and gives a reason for it, right? Because most of us know who he is and what his real name is. His look was a little bit different too, a little more like manicured kind of looking. It's hard to explain.
I thought his facial hair looked really weird.
Yeah.
It was like black, but it was like
perfectly
line.
That's what I mean. Like
it looked really weird. People were mocking it, which I can't blame them.
I'm interested to see what they do with them. Main event, Braun Mello. Again, this is the third match. That's 2 out of 3. I feel like they didn't really mesh. And that this was one of them. Reminded me of that one I really didn't like. Things just felt off a bit.
That was the stand and deliver one.
This felt like a long show, so maybe my focus wavered a bit. But some sort of sloppy move that Vic called innovative offense that I didn't love off the top caught my attention. It was by Braun, looked a bit clumsy. I think these guys are better than this and maybe just have poor chemistry. I don't know what it is. I don't think this was very good considering the talent and the stage it was on. Cena kicks Braun. Solo comes out and he and Cena fight. We get a Mellow code breaker on the floor and then the nothing but net, and he wins 13 minutes. Then Taker shows up on a motorcycle to very slowly confront Braun Breaker. Braun takes a punch and a choke slam and immediately looks significantly less of a badass, I think, right? What the heck does this accomplish?
Not meaner than Big Evil.
What's the payoff to this? To Braun Breaker, the biggest badass in NXT, blah, 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 getting choke slammed by a very old man. I don't know what the payoff is. Taker's not wrestling him, right? So I don't know.
No, I don't think there is a payoff. I think it's just ratings, pal.
So basically, what I learned from this, if you're in a match against main roster talent, you will lose. But good for you for being competitive, NXT. If you're in a segment with main roster talent, you will treat them with reverence and you will be in awe of them.
And in other words, you will still lose.
At all times, we must keenly be aware that main roster is a tier above NXT and that NXT and their fans should be thankful that so many main roster stars graced us with their presence this week. For me, virtually every one of them made this show less enjoyable than if they weren't there. If I wanted to see these people more often, I would already watch the shows. And I know I'm the minority. I get that. I'm just venting because this was awful.
Your take.
Couldn't stand this. Impact will be really quick because they're really long matches that ate up most of the show. Opening tag match, really good. Rascals long match defended successfully against Callahan and Swan. Rascals tried to cheat with the spray paint, backfired. Swan and Sammy hit the spike cactus driver for a really believable near fall, but then Wentz followed up with a low blow that the ref didn't see. Rascals hit the hot fire flame. Remember what that is?
No, but that's kind of redundant.
The shoving moonsault one.
That's a finisher?
Yeah, it is the finisher. Rascals are really good, man, and their quick tandem offense looks good, and I like Callahan and Swan together, so I guess the Rascals now defend against ABC at, I think, Bound for Glory. Really good match. I texted you. I was so excited. Kylan King's getting a singles push, and I think she deserves it. I've liked a ton of her matches lately. So she revealed that she's the one that attacked Taylor Wilde because she knew the detail of attacked with a crowbar. And Santino's like, I didn't say anything about a crowbar. And she was like, yeah, because
I don't remember Taylor Wilde even being attacked.
And she said, as soon as we lost the tag title, she was dead weight to me, which I really liked. So I hope she does well. Big rest hold for me. You texted me this, and I still shocked. Vladimir frickin' Kozlov debuts in Impact. And what's his real name?
Oleg Prudius or something.
That's correct. So it was the 5-way to determine the number 1 and 20 in the call your shot thing. A lot of people being out of the ring for extended periods. A lot of Champagne Singh and Dango working together to beat up Jordan Grace. Eric Young was gone so long, I forgot he was in the match. I'm like, who's the 5th person in this? He was gone for so long. Singh eventually turns on Dango. Oleg Prudius shows up and takes out Singh and Young before headbutting Jake something to allow Dango to pick up the win. So that means Dango enters at 20, Jake enters at 1.
I figured someone like him would probably lose, which is weird, but just because like you want someone strong starting the match, right? So
exactly. So Prudius, Dango, and Johnny Bravo celebrate after the match. The match itself was weird with Singh and Dango dominating Grace for so long. Then the debut of a guy that nobody knew who it was, to the point that commentary had no choice but to, at very first reference, to call him Vladimir. You remember Vladimir Kozlov? Because you say, hey, it's Prudius, Oleg Prudius, because he doesn't look.
Who cares about? He barely looks like Kozlov.
He looks like an aging Dijak. He looks like Dijak plus like 15 years to me. I see no value in adding him. I'm shocked at this addition because I don't know what he's been doing or where he's been, but I've heard nothing about him. Wanted to pull it up for you, but I didn't have time. Really good Crazy Steve vignette. He's both amazed and disgusted by Dreamer, then turns his attention to Black Taurus. They're done, and he's going to teach Black Taurus about pain and misery. I think it's like a match for him to get a quality win. And again, this is Bray Wyatt-ish in tone, but clearer language and makes it better. The vibe is still really cool, and I know what he's referring to and talking about, so I like it. And they're now really like, he's in full light, and they're showing his eyes, and his eyes do the like, they're quivering back and forth and moving. So I really like that they're incorporating that and not sort of hiding it anymore. Then the only other thing, dude, because you're falling asleep literally right now, is the main event. Did you hear about this? Kazarian, Eddie Edwards, and this is the match, a killer Impact match.
Oh, yeah, I saw like that was the thing. I don't understand what that is.
So 2 out of 3 falls. First fall, pinfall. Second fall, submission. Third fall, last man standing.
That's weird.
So this match was crazy. I just wish... Because it's obviously this blood feud, and this is the end of it, and it's gotten personal and involving their wives. But I'm just not feeling it, right? So that would have made this even better. But it was a spectacle, that being said. Kaz's chest is like bleeding, not like welts with a little bit of blood, like dripping blood from chops from Eddie here. We get just a few things. Kaz gets hip tossed onto the steps, look painful. Eddie takes an unprettier on the steps, look painful. Kaz ends up, I don't know what Alicia was doing, I forget, but he catches her and like runs halfway around the ring on the floor and then like runs her through a table that was set up against the post. It did kind of protect her, I think, and then so Eddie won the first fall with a knee party. Kaz won the second fall with the chicken wing, as you would expect, right? That's each of their finishers get incorporated here. And to finish, Kaz hit the fade to black from the apron through a table on the floor. It looked pretty crazy. No, the fade to black's like that pile driver thing he does. It's like that looks like the dead eye, but it's more of a or beach break kind of deal.
Oh yeah.
But more of a pile driver. So Eddie couldn't answer the 10 count, and this match was crazy and really long. These guys killed each other. I enjoyed it, but again, I wish I was more invested in the story because these guys worked super hard in this. But so I enjoyed Impact more than NXT this week easily. Okay. So, any Smackdown?
Restholds was, I told you about it. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are the new Raw and Smackdown GMs, respectively. Solid spot for Aldis if he isn't wrestling, but do we really need full-on GMs again?
And if Aldis is doing heel, fine. If he's doing babyface, it won't work for me. Not that I'll watch it.
I don't like that either way, because I thought Adam Pearce was perfectly fine and is not officially titled
as the nebulous authority.
Yeah, that he was, because he was occasionally around when it was necessary and when he was neutral. Like, he was just there when needed and is neutral. Yeah. So I feel like whenever we go into GMs, they're destined to be over-involved and destined to become very heel or very face. There's never...
Nope.
the only truly neutral GM that was good, I think, is William Regal, and I think
he's the
will
best.
die on the hill that he's the best GM they ever had.
Could be. I'd have to think, but he's in the running for sure.
He's definitely in the running. Also, Kevin Owens gets swapped to SmackDown, lame, because he spent the majority of recent years on SmackDown, which was pointed out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then also kind of kills the team with Sammy, which is disappointing because they didn't even last like half a year.
Nope.
So that's
they left money on the table there, as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed. Surprising high spot is Roman and the Bloodline came up for a stare down with Cody and Jay after they were teamed against War on Theory. And it was random since Jay hasn't been involved with them in a couple months, and Roman had a segment earlier with Cena and LA Knight, which is nothing worth, other than I guess like it's cool LA Knight's finally getting on that level at least.
Yep.
Because he's definitely not being Roman, but
no,
I'm just glad like he's at least in that orbit. Just to even be in that orbit is an elevation for him. But for some reason I just quite enjoyed the sight of Cody Roman nose to nose again. Like, I'm not the biggest Cody fan like you, but I'd still like to see him finish the story. And at the end of the day, I think this was cool, and I think at the end of the day, I think he should still probably be the one to beat Roman.
Probably. I don't see anyone else.
I think Jay jumping ship after SummerSlam kind of put a pin in an interesting feud with Jimmy, and I think that's part of what kind of killed the Bloodline Saga, because Jay was probably the best character in the whole thing, just overall, because he was in there around longer than Sammy, and so I think Jay was really, like, some people said, the heart of the story. So I think him kind of being absent was kind of part of what made the Bloodline stale for a bit. So I think if Cody and Jay have to defend against Solo and Jimmy, I think that could breathe at least a little life back into the Bloodlines happenings, just so that we can end not on a complete damn squib, because it's definitely sucked but for the last couple months.
It's been waning for sure.
I feel like this could at least bring it back, because I'm at least interested to see Jay kind of confront them again, at least a little bit, as long as it's not like the Fastlane match. And I'm still interested to see Cody finish the story, just because it was nice to see him face up to Roman again. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Nice. Glad there was something good on there. All right. So you said you do have a little bit of an update from the world of wrestling figures to talk about. So we'll do that now in our final segment called Figuring It Out with Jack. All right, make it quick, man. It's 1:18 a.m. right now, so I am tired. What do you got?
The most interesting thing was they revealed a made-to-order Elite 5-pack of all the LWO people.
I saw that.
From Backlash, because Rey Mysterio's got like the promo gear with like the slim jeans, and he's got like that weird shark-looking mask. And so they all got cloth LWO shirts, and then Zelina Vega's got her big like Puerto Rico.
Oh, that outfit?
Gear from,
yeah, that was
Backlash.
Cool.
And so then Walking Wild and Del Toro have like the tank tops with the LWO logo, and Escobar's got like his kind of shorter tank top with like the wider sides, because tank tops are just thin. His is wider.
Yep.
Escobar's got like, it's the same head they used before, but it's got long hair instead of the bun. So that's cool. And then it's the first figures for Legado first elites for Legado other than Escobar. And I guess Vega also had an elite before. And then Rey Mysterio's got like the Puerto Rico LWO shirt. I don't know, that's cool. I probably won't get it, but I kind of wish I could. It's made to order on MattelCreations.com. It's a little trickier for us to get, because I think it's shipping and whatever.
Correct. Shipping, duty, exchange, all of it.
They showed images for Greatest Hits 3, which is just like the re-release series. There's Scorpion King Rock, John Nada, Roddy Piper, R-Truth from an early, I think it was like Elite 11 or something. Re-releasing Legends Bruce Beefcake from Dream Team. Re-releasing Elite 33 Rollins in the Shield gear, because they can't give him the white Rollins. I can't have good things. Re-releasing Then Now Forever and the Then Now Forever Natural Disasters Elites. And speaking of getting things that, or can't get things I want, they put out so it's the new Top Picks Basics. And of course they put out, again, just to absolutely mess with me, it's the Thanos Rollins again. It's not an Elite. Except it's down to basic with the update articulation, so I'll probably buy it just because it's closer to an Elite, but I still yearn for the day where I get Elite Thanos Rollins. And then there's also Rock in a painted-on shirt and Undertaker from NXT. Just kidding. Then there's new basic renders. There's Sami Zayn with a painted-on shirt, and it's basically his Mania gear, but with the Night of Champions shirt. It's actually a WrestleMania shirt, so it's his Mania gear. There's Gunther, but it's definitely a Walter figure, because it looks like Walter gear and he's beefier. Then there's Ludwig Kaiser getting his first figure, and the dark blue trunks, and then the Chase in the red and black trunks. Tiffany Stratton's gonna get her first basic, so that's pretty nice, and Kane as well from like '01, I would say. Then Elite 106, there's Roxanne Perez in like the striped and paint splatter gear. It's the perfect 2.0 look, I would say.
Yep.
She's got her women's title with the weird looking strap that I showed you. Then there's Paul Bearer and the normal one, the black suit. It's a beefy figure because Paul Bearer is a
beefy boy.
But there's the normal one, the black look like from early Paul Bearer, and then the Chase variant has like the brown hair with like the blue suit from like probably Attitude Era Paul Bearer, I think it is. Then there's Sami Zayn from Elimination Chamber and the Sami Zayn logo after Sami Uso. There's Alpha Academy Chad Gable. You've got the cloth shoe shirt. That one's really nice. It's probably the best Chad Gable they've done, so that's really nice. I'll definitely pick that out because
he's cool.
Love me some Chad Gable.
Me too.
And finally, we got the Usos from War Games last year in the all red, the red and black. They've got the red We the One shirts. They're basically like elite versions of the Ultimate Usos I just got, except Jimmy finally has a new head that actually kind of looks like him.
Mm-hmm. You were happy about that.
He doesn't have the weird mullet thing anymore. He's got two different interchangeable hairs, which both look better. I don't think it's a perfect head, but it's definitely better. And then Jay reuses one of the Ultimate head scans, and he's got the all red gear too. He's got the red sleeve on his arm, which looks really nice. So that is coolio. And that is it. That was a speed run and a half.
Appreciate it, because I'm gonna fall asleep too. You're more tired than I am, which is crazy. So
yeah, but what's new?
Get to bed because you got to get up to work tomorrow. But anyways, thanks for joining us for episode 169. We will be absolutely back here for episode 170 next Saturday. Don't think there's anything special in the works. The Good Gold Days has been paused because we just haven't had time. But maybe we could.
Okay, we gotta pump out like
we could record a bunch over the week off and just release. This is probably a conversation for later, but maybe not on the air. No one's listening at this point.
Yeah,
at the last minute of the show.
We definitely gotta work it because I do want to get to it, but
me too.
It'll take absolute ages to get where I want to get to.
But we can take because each episode's an hour, so even 2 hours we could watch it and record and be done each one. So we could knock off a few maybe and then just set them to release. Anyways, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you back here next week. And until then, everybody, take care.